No peak too high to reach, no roads too long to seek. The highest mountain we'll climb. Oh, no valley that's too deep, nothing we can't achieve, 'cause nothing's breaking our stride. Hey, here we go, sing a roar, take the lead, sing a more. Ole, 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 ole. Here we go, sing a cup, no we're not giving up. Ole, 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 ole. Na na hoo, na 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 hoo, na 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 hoo, na na yeah yeah yeah. Na na hoo, na 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 hoo, na 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 hoo, na na yeah yeah yeah. We're headed for our dreams, gold opportunities, our heart connecting our mind. Oh, through it all, you and me will win eternally. Our future's looking so bright. Hey, here we go, sing a roar, take the lead, sing a more. Ole, 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 ole. Here we go, sing a cup, no we're not giving up. Ole, 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 ole. Na na hoo, na 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 hoo, na 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 hoo, na na yeah yeah yeah. Na na hoo, na na hoo, na na yeah yeah yeah. Together, you and me, we'll reach our destiny. Sing a cup, keep roaring, for we are young and free. We'll get the stars tonight. Our hands up to the sky. Long as you're by my side, we will fly. Hey, na na hoo, na na hoo, na na hoo, yeah yeah yeah. Na na hoo, na na hoo, na na yeah yeah yeah. Here we go, sing a roar, take the lead, sing a more. Ole, 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 ole. Here we go, sing a cup, no we're not giving up. Ole, 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 ole.
Hello and welcome to the eSingaCup 2020. My name is Shehzad Haque. I'm your host for this evening. We've got a very special lineup for you. This is one, of course, of a series of great chats that we have with many of the biggest names footballers in the world. And I'm glad to say tonight we have a serial winner. He's a man who's won plenty of titles, 7 to be exact, in Japan. He's also been Coach of the Year twice there and AFC Coach of the Year. It's Akira Nishino, a man who's synonymous with Gamba Osaka, who took Japan to the furthest they've been in the World Cup. And it's a great pleasure to have Mr. Nishino with us. Nishino-san, thank you for joining us here, eSingaCup 2020. I'd like to just start, because you've got a long story career. Who inspired you when you were a youngster to get into football? And and take it up as a profession?
私は日本の中でもサッカーの有名なところに運よく生まれて、そこにはアマチュアですけど、大きな、自分にとってはすごく大きなクラブが存在していました。全国のクラブ選手というよりは、オラが町の町クラブですけども、その選手たちに憧れて、小さい頃から彼らを目指してサッカーはやっていました。
Well, talking about amateur players, what was interesting for you is that you made your debut for Japan when you were still in university. You hadn't even joined a club yet. That's really unusual. Tell us how that came about.
自分は選手時代はプロサッカーっていうものが存在しなかったので、胸に日の丸をつけて、ナショナルチームとして、サッカー選手として、将来なりたいなって強く思って、幼少期からやってきました。順調にいい指導者にも恵まれて、小中高と、そして大学に行って、日本の大学は非常に当時は非常にレベルも高い中でやれてましたので、大学に行って日本代表を目指そうという、強い志を持ってやっていきました。ただ、プロがないっていうことは、事実だったので、とにかくアマチュアの実業団の中で、成果を出して代表になるということを大きな夢としてやってました。
It is unusual to go from university to the national side. And do you feel like at that time Japan, was a very different time for the national team from what it is now? Because there was no professional league.
私は高校の3年生の時にもやはり、多少秀でた力を認められて代表に選んでもらいました。ただ自分は辞退をしました。それは将来ナショナルチーム実業団でやるためにはどうしても大学のサッカーを選択しなければいけないので、大学に行ってからさらにナショナルチームに選ばれるように努力はしましたけれども、高校からそういうピックアップされる選手だったので、さらに大学で自分が努力した結果、そういうナショナルチームに選ばれたということで、珍しくはなかったと思います。当時は大学レベルも非常に高かったので、私だけではない選手たちも選ばれていました。
Well, what was interesting is you retired at the age of 35. You went straight from a playing career to take up coaching. What was your motivation to do that?
正直言うと、プロリーグがなかったので、プロの選手に私はなれませんでした。その後、5年経ってプロリーグができたわけですけども、その間、私は正直将来サッカーをやるためには教員になるしかないと自分で考えてはいました。大学時代にも教職をライセンスを取りましたし、ゆくゆくは教員になってサッカー界の指導者、先生としてやるつもりではいました。35の時に引退しましたけれども、そういうつもりで故郷に帰ろうっていうつもりはありましたけど、当時の先生に断られて、やむなく実業団に残る。その中で、選手兼コーチとしてスタートしたのが指導者の始まりで、その後、数年後に J リーグが、できました。その中で、プロとしてやはり入っていくことにはなるんですけども、正直、プロの監督を目指した自分では当時はなかった。
Well, you were not a coach for very long before you started looking after the Japan under-20 and then the under-23 team, and then you famously went to the Olympic Games in 1996 and performed what people now call the miracle of Miami, where you you were up against Brazil. You took on the likes of Roberto Carlos and Ronaldo, and Japan won. What a great achievement that was. Tell us a little bit about how that was for you, sort of probably your first big success as a coach.
世界でも多分僕は珍しい指導者のキャリアだと思います。代表のチームから私は入りました。最初にアンダー20の監督、アンダー23の監督でオリンピックに行くという、まず頭の中をドメスティックからインターナショナルに変えていかなきゃいけない、その作業が自分の中でものすごくありました。でその結果、28年オリンピックに出れなかったことを日本のオリンピックチームは成し遂げました。そして本大会に行ってブラジルに勝てたっていう、歴史はありますけれども、非常にプロリーグとリンクしながら日本サッカー界がうまく若手が成長してた時期でもあり、世界に十分戦える力が数年の中で、93年に設立させて96年のオリンピックまで3年間の間で、若い選手たちが非常に成長したっていう、そこに私が運よく指導者として、いたということだと。
In that side, the second youngest player in your squad was Hidetoshi Nakata. What did you think of him back then, and did you have any idea that he would become the superstar that he became?
本格的なプロフェッショナル近年で先駆者的にヨーロッパに行って、ああいうスターになったっていうのは中田だと思います。それは彼を、オリンピック世代から見ていて、何が他の選手と違うか。他の選手も海外志向が非常に強くて、たくさんそういう希望はありました。でも彼ほど具体的に、イタリアを目指してたわけですけども、常にイタリア語を勉強したりとか、イタリアの文化、歴史、サッカーの歴史と自分の中に吸収しながら目指している選手っていうのは、同じようなレベルの選手はたくさんいましたけれども、そういう部分で本格的にプロとして向こうでチャレンジするっていう気持ちを持っていたのは、中田英寿が世代では第一人者だったと思います。
Well, he's certainly very different. He made quite an impact, didn't he, as a player? And of course, he famously retired at the age of 29. Were you surprised by that? Or is that kind of keeping in his character?
まず、全くそういう感じは全くしてなかったので、彼らのキャリアっていうのは、ワールドカップからまたさらに、作られていくんだろうなとは思いつつ、ワールドカップを見てましたけれども、彼はやはり今でも自分は分かりません。彼の気持ち、そこでなぜ全く燃え尽きた、やりきった感もおそらくなかったと思いますし、多分日本サッカーファンは彼に対してなぜって思ったはずです。ただやはり想像以上に彼は、そういう日本の J リーグでヨーロッパに渡って非常にチャレンジをしてきて、すり減ってた予想以上に彼がやりきった感が彼自身の中にはあったのかもしれない。
Yeah, what a great career he had. And that point, of course, the Olympics kind of launched you, didn't it? Because in 2002, you took over at Gamba Osaka, a club that had never won any silverware in Japan. But when you took over, you won 5 trophies with them, and only twice did they finish out of the top 3. What do you attribute this to, this huge change in their fortunes after you took over?
自分としても関東から関西エリアを変えての初めてのチャレンジでした。家族を置いて自分だけ単身で大阪に行って指導歴をまた続けるという、大きなチャレンジでもありました。どこの国でもそうですけど、エリアごとにやはりサッカー文化も 違うので、これは自分にとっても単身で行く、違うエリアで、J リーグをまた再度挑戦していくということの大きな節目が2002年でした。シンガポールは地域の差っていうのはあまり感じないとは思いますけど、日本の場合はやはり500キロ離れると言葉も違いますし、文化も違う。そういう中でやはりサッカー文化も違う中での自分のチャレンジは大いに期待は自分ではしてスタートをしていきました。
Yeah, going back to Gamba Osaka, when Nishino-san took over there, and they had all that success under him, and that was a club that had never won anything at Gamba Osaka, and suddenly he had all this success. What were the ingredients for that success? Obviously, he was a big part of it.
当時10年間いるとは思いませんでした。1クラブに10年在籍するっていうのは世界中で5人しかいません。5番目に僕は1クラブで長い時間をやらせてもらいました。ただ、この世界ですから1年1年が勝負です。その積み重ねで10年やれたとは思いますけど、確かにすごい歴史を作れたとは思います。ただそこには私ではなくて、その、哲学を持ったクラブがあり、選手がそこにいたということで、ここには、あなたもご存知の遠藤康人という中心選手がいるわけなんですけれども、彼によって、そういうチーム力が上がっていったことは、これは一つ間違いないことで、ありますし、彼がものすごい影響を与えた、サッカーに対して影響を与えてきたということは、強かったと思います。一つクラブでタイトルを取ったことに対する、選手、スタッフ、クラブ、この自信というものはものすごく大きかったことを感じます。4年目に、初タイトルを取れたわけなんですけども、段階的にその目標に向かってタイトルが取れた。タイトルを取ってからはもう上昇軍団として、やはりすでにステータスも上がり、ファンサポーターへの魅力度も伝えられ、やはりビッグクラブになったと。一つのタイトルっていうものは非常に大きかった。
You mentioned Yasuhito Endo there. I mean, he's a very special player. He's a man synonymous with Gamba Osaka, and obviously a very pivotal player for you. You mentioned that he was key for you. What were his big qualities around of him? And it looked like you built a team around him. Is that right?
確かに彼からの発信っていう意味でものすごく影響を与えてくれた選手ではあるとは思います。ただ私自身は彼中心にチームを構成していたわけではありません。彼は非常に主張も強いです。ただ、その主張によって自分ができるパフォーマンスによって周りの選手もさらに活かしてやる。そういう相乗効果っていうものが非常に高かった。そういう意味でのキープレイヤーだったことは間違いない。
Endo won the Champions League MVP. He won AFC Player of the Year. He was such an important player. I'm just trying to understand the relationship between coach and star player. How important is that for all the budding youngsters out there who want to know how that works? Do you just let them do their own thing, or do you keep a close eye on them? Do you have to talk to them much, or do you give them the freedom to do what they want to do on the pitch?
あまり彼はものをいろいろ言って発信するタイプではなくて、自分のパフォーマンスで選手を引きつける、選手に影響を与えるっていう、あまり高圧的に強く主張するっていうタイプではないですし、 私の戦術に対してもう彼はしっかりと答えることのできる対応性のある選手でもありますし、ただ彼のプレースタイルが周りにこう影響していく、彼をリセットしながらプレーしている選手が非常にこう共感できる、そういうタイプの選手だったっていうことは、もう一番の彼の MVP に選ばれる、一番のそういうキャラクターだと。
What a great servant he's been to Gamba Osaka. I mean, he was still in the club now. He just gone on loan with Jubilo Iwata, and he's playing for them still in his 40s. I want to fast forward now, Nishino-san, to the World Cup, FIFA World Cup in 2018. You were technical director at JFA, the Japan Football Association, and just over 2 months before the World Cup, you were appointed as the interim coach. I mean, that it was a bit of a surprise for everyone that you were given that appointment so soon to the World Cup, before the World Cup. How did you react to it? How did you feel about taking on such a big job?
大会の3ヶ月前までは私はテクニカルダイレクターでいました。ポジション的には。でテクニカルダイレクターっていうのは代表の監督の人事権を持っていて、解任する、ピックアップする、推挙する、そういう役割を持っていましたので、日本中、おそらく彼がハリロジッチ監督を解任して自分が手を挙げてなったんではないかっていう、まずそういう目で国民から見られました。ただ、日本のサッカー、そこで、会長から突然、3ヶ月前に私にっていう話が来たんですけれども、私はやはり一瞬断りました。当然です。私がテクニカルダイレクターでありますし、ハリロジッチ監督と一緒に、サッカー界を去らなければいけない覚悟でいたところ、私に指名がありました。それに対してはすごく驚きました。ただ、日本のサッカー界をあと2ヶ月後に迫るワールドカップに対して止めるわけにはいかない。いろんな経験上、私に指名があったんですけども、私はもう数日の中で即答して引き受けました。今まで以上にやはりチーム作りに対する時間がないっていう中で、私は選手たちとコミュニケーションを今までの2倍、3倍に増やしながら意思疎通を図ってチームが2ヶ月後にどういうパフォーマンスで出さなければいけないかっていうことを、選手たちと一体となって仕事はしました。葛藤とか不安とかっていうことが、おそらく時間があればあったんでしょうけども、そういう余裕もなく、やはり前に進まなければいけない。ワールドカップの初戦のコロンビア戦に合わせなければいけないっていうことだけをチームとして選手と一緒に考え。
You know, I think you might have been surprised at the time, but it turned out to be a great move for Japan because you got them all the way to the round of 16. You came so close, so agonizingly close in that game against Belgium. Everyone talks about that, and it was in the last seconds of the game where they got the winning goal and win 3-2. Otherwise, you would have gone to extra time. Who knows what would have happened? Is that your biggest regret as a coach, that Japan just failed to make it to the quarterfinals?
サッカー選手、みんな言われたと思います。私自身も小さい頃からサッカーで2対0ほど危険な状況はないって監督や先生から言われ続けてきました。もう何度も何度も小さい頃から言われてきたことで、私も指導者になってから選手には必ずハーフタイム、ゲームの途中で選手に伝えます。これが一番危険な状況だということを私自身も言い続けてきました。ただ、あの瞬間だけは一瞬ベスト8に行けるって確信をしてしまった自分が非常に後悔して グループステージの3試合目のポーランド戦の終わり10分に、日本チームは非常にネガティブな戦いをしてしまいました。その反省を踏まえて、ベルギー戦は非常にアグレッシブに戦えてくれた選手たちで2対0。私は負けるなんていうの一つも思っていない自分があそこにいたことを後悔。
I wasn't going to bring up the Poland game. Maybe I'll save that question for a little bit later on if we have some time, because I know that's another big talking point. So we'll wait on that one for a while. Now, of course, you are coach of Thailand, and you mentioned a little bit earlier, but tell us again, how different has it been from being in Japan to now being in Thailand?
A 代表だけの比較とか状況だけを語ることはできないと思うんですね。キッズから育成から、それから国内のリーグっていう、そういうシステム自体がやはり異なって、日本とは異なるっていうことの中で考えなければいけないですし、日本がもうストロング、タイがウィークっていうところだけをクローズアップする必要はないと思うので、タイのやはり現状、これは全く日本とは比較に多分ならないです、正直。そういうやはりシステムの構築もしっかりした上で A 代表を考えなければいけない。漠然ですけども、そう今、感じてます。選手だけにフォーカスすると、非常に高いタレント、素晴らしい才能を持った選手たちがたくさんいるのには気づきます。ただそういうシステムでは海外に行くような、スムーズにいけるような、チャレンジできるようなシステムがあるかというとそうではないですし、そういう原石は本当に選手たちはたくさんいることは感じていることは間違いないです。なんとか自分はそういう中で彼らを磨いて鍛えて、今 A 代表アンダー23任されてますけども、そのトップの部分だけは、そういう姿勢でチャレンジしていきたい。
You know, you talked about players going abroad. It must please you as a Japanese coach to see the likes of Chanatip. He's very important to Consadole Sapporo. You've got Tiraton, who's a league winner with Yokohama F. Marinos. And then, of course, you've got Tirasin, who plays with Shimizu. So it must be really, you must feel quite proud of that, to have that link as a Japanese coach in charge of Thailand.
選手たちに私は本当に語りかけます。今、ナティップ、イラトン、イラシン、みんな活躍してる、みんなの同じ、以前はやってた、同じ大リーグでやってた選手たちがチャレンジをしている。君たちも十分通用するように日本でチャレンジすることが気持ちの中であればということは促しますけれども、なかなか選手たちは、いや、彼らは特別な選手だ、僕らはまだまだだ。そういう自分での評価しか持ってない、作れてない。いや、私自身は正直にチャレンジすれば、十分通用する。で、ステップアップできるようなステージで、彼らはサッカー取り組むことができると思うんですけど、なかなかそこに飛び込まない現状はあると思います。もっともっとやはり、東南アジアだけではなくて、やはりアジア、世界っていうもののサッカーと自分っていうものを冷静に、やはり比較して、やっぱりそういうチャレンジを、促していきたいなと思いますし、選手たちもやはりそういう気持ちを持って、これから国内リーグでレベルアップしてほしいなと思います。
Well, I mean, that's great. And I know you want to push those players to change their mindset. You've seen how those players that have gone to Japan have improved, I'm sure, as team players as well. Do you see more Thai players moving to Japan perhaps in the future?
なんか違う世界をかなりかけ離れた 日本のリーグであるとか、海外のクラブチームに対する見方っていうのは、少し過剰に、自分がとは違うステージであるっていうような見方をおそらくしてると思うんです。でも自分はやはりそこに飛び込めば、そういう気持ち、覚悟があれば、十分やれると思う選手はたくさんいると思います。で、自分はプッシュはしたいとは思いますけども、やはりいろんな国民性であるとか、アスリートとしてのクラブの中の自分っていう中で、なかなかそういうところで飛び込めない、そういうシステムもあるのか、契約上のこともあるのか、なかなかそういう違うステージでチャレンジするっていう機会が整ってないような気はします。
That's fair enough. It's early days, of course, and we hope that more players, not only from Thailand, but Southeast Asian football can go there. And on that final question, I want to ask you, you've played a few sides in the region. What do you make overall of Southeast Asian football and where it can go?
やはりまだまだアジアの中では小国として見なければいけないと思います。日本も世界の中ではまだまだ小国としてのポジションだとは思います。そういう中で、確かに東南アジアでの争いというものは非常に活発ではありますけれども、やはり目指すところはやはりアジアであり世界であるということをやはり、トップがそういう意識、コーチングスタッフだけではなくて、やはり協会自体もそういうスタンスでやはり考えてランニングしていかなければいけないと思いますし、もっともっとやはり国内の一朝一夕に A 代表がアジアや世界で戦えるチームになる国はどこにもないんです。やはりアンダー17、アンダー20がアジア、世界に飛び出して対等に戦えるようなやはり底辺を作っていかなければまだまだいけない時代だと思いますし、トップレベルだけが強化をしてもやはり伸びしろっていうものは限られていると思うので、そういうピラミッド型の育成からトップに対するシステムっていうものをもっともっとやはり各国これはまだまだ不足しているところだと。
Nishino-san, thank you so much for talking to us. It's been a real pleasure to get some insights and thoughts of what you made of your career and some of the great things you've done, as well as about Thai football. Hopefully we can get a few more questions in, but right now I'm very happy to say we've got 3 budding talents who are joining us here in the eSingaCup chat with Mr. Akira Nishino. Let me just give you a quick introduction to the 3 of them. We've got Javier Gayoso, of course. He is with the Azkals development team. Very interesting. He is a Philippines international footballer, and he is also an alumnus of the eSingaCup. Way back in 2013, he was the boys, I want to get this right, under 18 golden boot winner. He's a scoring freak in Philippine football. We're delighted to have him here. And thanks for joining us, Javier. Harvey, I think they call you as well. Little known fact, I have commentated on this young man, scored his first international goal in Bangladesh. I've also commentated on Akira Nishino's teams in the past, so it's quite special to have both of you talking to each other. What are your questions there for Mr. Nishino?
Thank you for having me, sir. So my first question for Mr. Nishino would be, how is it like coaching in the World Cup, sir?
ワールドカップは私は初めての経験でした。サッカーってやはり0コンマ何秒とか数センチの戦いが、常にあります。それは判断力もそうですし、パス、フィジカル的なところのそういう問題です。それが確実にワールドカップのピッチ上では違う空気が流れて、国内のリーグとも違うし、アジアや親善試合、国際試合の中での空気感とは全く違う、その厳しい0コンマ何秒の判断の違いが 全部戦局を変えてしまうような、本当に怖い世界を感じました。
So do I give my second question?
Yep, please go ahead.
Okay, so my second question is because you were assigned the coach for the national team of Japan for that World Cup. I wanted to know what were the key factors that you look at in actually building a national team squad for your World Cup team?
自分のやはりチーム作り、ナショナルチームのチーム作りっていうのは、すべて経験させてもらいました。アンダー20、アンダー23、ナショナルチーム、すべてのカテゴリーを経験させてもらいました。でも共通して、やはり代表選手ですから自分でピックアップできる。自分の理想のシステム、理想の戦術に合う選手をピックアップできる。もうそれが得点があります。これは素晴らしい選手をそういうポジションにピックアップすることができる。そういうチームがナショナルチームです。ただ、選手は非常にレベルが一人一人、インディビジュアルは能力が高い。でもグループとして、チームとして戦う、そういう力があるかっていうことを、まず自分は優先的に考えたいと。能力があっても、自分だけっていう、もうエゴがだけでプレーをしている選手はよくいると思いますけど、そういう選手はナショナルチームには選ばれる基準ではないと思います。グループとして仕事がいかにハイパフォーマンスでできるかを考えられる選手を選びたいと思います。
Okay. ありがとうございます。
Thank you very much, Xavi. Thank you for joining us and with those questions.
Thank you very much for having me, sir.
Keep scoring those goals for us, yeah? Thank you.
I'll do my best, sir.
Okay, I'm pleased to now introduce Zikos Chua. He's from Singapore. He plays for Geylang International, and he was the youngest player to ever play in the country's top tier and became the third youngest scorer. Again, another person I've been honored to have commentated on when he scored that goal. What are your questions as well for Nishino-san?
Good evening, Nishino-san. My first question would be, obviously you've managed many great players across your career at both the national team level and club level. And I'd like to know what is some common traits you see in all of them, which has allowed them to have a very long and successful career.
いい選手とか、やはり長いキャリアを持っている選手は怪我が少ないです。それは第一に言えることだと思いますし、ことわざでもありますけども、やはり怪我をしないことが本当に素晴らしい選手。それだけではないですけども、やはりそれが一番大事なことだと思いますし、それに対するアプローチは大変な努力が必要だと。自分のフィジカルを、メンタルもしっかり、フィジカルもしっかり、両方のコンディションを常にキープしていく。これは非常に簡単なようで非常に難しいことだと。で、やはりトップ選手っていうのはもう単調で単純だと思うんです。毎日が。練習に対する、試合に対する準備をして、試合に臨む、振り返って、またトリートメントして、次の試合に。もう毎日が単調。でも、トップ選手は非常にクオリティの高いルーティンをこなしています。ただでも単調で単純な毎日。それをしっかり自分の中で咀嚼してやれるかどうかだと思います。
And my second question would be, you graduated from university, and I would like to know how did you balance your studies and your football at a young age?
Big question, this part of the world.
Of course.
大学生ですか?
Are you a college student?
Junior college, yeah.
私は両立は正直できなかったかもしれません。 ほとんど机を見ながら寝ていましたし、中心がやはりサッカーに、趣を置いてたんで、両立は正直、できていなかったとは思います。ただ、学校には毎日行ってました。サッカー、大学、我々の時代、現在もそうですけども、非常に厳しいですし、学業もしっかり学校に行く、集中してやる。で、午後からはやはりグラウンドに行って集中してサッカーにやる。やはりオンオフ、学校とグラウンドっていうことに対する、で、それからやはりアフターに対するメンテナンスとかっていうものはしっかり厳しく指導されていたので、そういう意味では、日本の場合は大学サッカーは非常にハイレベルでやれてるので、非常に厳しい中で、両方やれる環境はありました。
OK。ありがとうございます。Yoshino-san. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Zikos, and good luck for the rest of the season. Thank you for those very honest answers there about university. Talking university, by the way, I should have mentioned earlier that both Nishino-san and Javier made their debut for their country whilst at university. So that's quite an interesting fact. Okay, finally, we have our final talent tonight, Hayato Kimura, who plays for FC.REGATE in Oita. He was also in the ranks of Oita Trinita in their youth teams. And he has played for the west of Japan in a football tournament in Spain. And he's going to be joining a prestigious football school in Miyazaki once he completes his high school. Please go ahead and ask your questions.
よろしくお願いします。
どこにいるの？今どこ？
大
分に。
はい。
そうなんだ。
はい。キャプテンをしてうまくチームをまとめることができませんでした。日頃の練習や試合前後など、どのようなことをしたら、チームとして同じところを目指し、意識を高めまとまることができると思いますか？
キャプテンをやってるの、今。
はい。
そうなんだ。俺、あんまり、キャプテンってちっちゃい頃からやったことがないんで、その気持ちになれないんだけどさ。キャプテンってさ、それでなくてもやっぱりみんなから頼られる、そういう性格だよね。あんまりサッカーが抜群に上手ではなくても、やはりいるだけでなんかチームがそいつにの言ったことに対してみんながまとまっていくとか、そういう性格の持ち主がそれでなくてもなってると思うんだよね、キャプテンって。だからそれ以上になんかまとめなきゃとかさ、もうチームどうしなきゃ、こいつなんとかしてくれよとかって、もうそうやっていう気持ちが強すぎると、君自身がなんか疲れちゃうんじゃないかと思うし、君自身のパフォーマンスがどこかいなくなっちゃうんじゃないかって思うんだけど、そんなに力入れなくても、君のそのパフォーマンス自体が、性格自体がもうキャプテンとしてみんな求心力持ってるから、君が一言言えば、もうそんなに深く考えないでいいんじゃないか。
ありがとうございます。
責任感も強く感じることはないと思うけど。
ありがとうございます。プロを目指しています。高校の間でプロになれなかった場合、高校卒業後の進路は、大学もしくは実業団といろいろあると思いますが、どのような進路が良いと思いますか？
トリニータには属してないの？
はい、今、
学校か？学校クラブ？
クラブチーム。クラブチームでやってます。
クラブチームでやってる？
はい。
たくさん道はあると思うよ。続けていれば。実業団でもそうだし、 日本の大学はやはり遠回りのように見えるけど、大学卒業してからプロになって、ナショナルチームになってる選手もいっぱいいるからね。決して遠回りではないし、大学の選択もありだと思うし、JFL や、そういう実業で J3 に入ってる選手もたくさんいるので、自分の意欲、目標が高くて、そういうトップを目指すチャンスっていうのは、いろいろ道があるのが日本での強みでもあるから、ここ行かなきゃプロになれないっていうことではないから、それは全く諦める必要はないし、大学でもいい。サッカー部がある大学がいいよな。
はい。
いろんな選択があるから、もうそういう目標はしっかり持って、ただ自分のステップアップはしっかり考えていかなきゃいけない。
わかりました。ありがとうございます。
可能性はたくさんある。目指して。
はい。
Thank you very much, Hayato, for your questions. I appreciate you coming on and picking the brain of Akira Nishino. Nishino-san, wonderful words of wisdom from you for these talents and giving them some inspiration. We really thank you for doing that. And of course, having that question and answer session with me. It's been a real honor to have you on the eSingaCup 2020. We wish you the best of luck with Thailand next year. It's going to be a busy year, hopefully, if all things come back to normal. Till then, you take care and stay safe.
Thank you very much.
This is the place I call home.
Our home. This is where we live amongst trees and carve them out of metal. Where impossibilities lead us to endless possibilities. This is where all that you're passionate about, all that drives you, is made possible. This is where passion is made possible.
eSingaCup family, this is Tim Cahill. Catch me live on Tuesday, 3rd of November as I answer all your questions on the show. eSingaCup 2020 comes to you every day from the 31st of October to November the 4th. Continue to send in your questions and I'll see you soon.
we are very happy that we have the support of the club, and we are very happy that we have facilities, and the children love football. So whenever we come with football, they want to join, they want to be part of what we're doing. So for us, it's a great benefit to have for this special day today, to have friends, guests here that observe and support, and we want to thank eSingaCup for their involvement and for their heart. Yes, to see football be played better, that is important, but we want to use football for social change, and thank you for coming and supporting and giving us additional emotional support.
It's been fantastic. I think we are into the second day of the tournament. If you look at the energy level, if you look at the enthusiasm, not just from the players, from the coaches, the parents, it's a fantastic advertisement for Singapore, not just for Singapore football, but Singapore as a hub for youth, for sports. And I'm very glad with the organizers of eSingaCup as well. And this is really the kind of programming that we need, a vibrant programming calendar. And just like eSingaCup, I'm pretty sure there's a lot more other organizers who are doing something like this. And I'm quite happy. I think it's not just if you look at the range, the diverse range of teams that's participating today, it's not just the level of competition that you'll see today, but also gives an opportunity for kids, our Singaporean kids, to also learn from one another in terms of both the technical side of things, sharing among the coaches, and also, I think more importantly for me, is the values that the kids bring back home.
What exactly is Just Football? Just Football is an app that brings the football world and the tech world together. It allows you to play different challenges, whether it be on the pitch, like the crossbar challenge, or off the pitch, where you get to do your skills, rainbow flicks, 360s, all of that good stuff to help you improve your game while having fun at the same time. So here's how it works. In the app, you can pick from loads of different challenges. So you select a challenge, you watch a tutorial, and you see how to do it. Then you go and give it a go. Film yourself completing a challenge, share your video, and get rated by the community to collect the stars and progress in the game. As you get more stars, you elevate. You go from easy to medium to hard until you become a superstar in app. So I'm going to try the 360 challenge, which is basically you flick the ball up, do a 360, and then catch the ball before it drops on the floor. Let's try it. There you have it. There are loads more challenges in app for you to try, so what are you waiting for?
No one comes back fully from an ACL injury. That's what everyone tells me. So definitely, no one comes back from 2 ACL injuries. Everybody said my career was over, that I would never play again, that I won't be able to kick the ball again. They said that I will never be the same again. Then I heard the voices of my wife and kids. They wanted me to be on the field. They kept asking me when I would be on the field again. For them, I made myself a promise. I don't want just to be back to my best again. I want to be better. Better than my best. I ignored my critics and I took their words as motivation instead. Motivation to work even harder. Every single day, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., I was in the gym. In the morning, I was doing knee rehab, then lunch, power nap. 2 p.m., continued with upper body workout and ended it with icing and stretching. Monday to Saturday for about a year. To be even stronger than I ever was, I needed to go further. I met a nutritionist, a sports psychologist, and doctors. I also did my own research and learned much more about nutrition and sports science in order to make my comeback. To change my story, I had to change my life. I prioritized sleep, rest, yoga, strength and conditioning work. Before my ACL, I didn't care about watching my diet, but now I make sure I eat good, healthy and proper food. I was becoming physically and mentally stronger, but things got harder. In 2013, I finally got back to the field. My performance was bad. I conceded a lot of goals. I was rusty due to the long layoff and being out of action for so long. My critics were having the last laugh. So what did I do? I do what I always do. I put my head down and got back to work. My newfound knowledge and wisdom gave me the mental strength to keep going. I continued to learn new things. I repeated the same recovery training again and again. My family was watching and waiting, so I kept going. The hard work finally paid off. In 2014, I won the league with Warriors FC. I won the Player of the Year in the S League. I even got an offer to play overseas in Thailand for Army United for 2 years. In 2015, I was voted Goalkeeper of the Year by Goal Thailand. And then, while playing for Home United, I had an unfortunate accident. I had a head collision with a player from the opponent. I broke my nose. Was in a concussion for around 2 to 3 hours. The doctor said I will be out for at least 3 months. So what did I do about it? I did nothing different. Because what happens to you doesn't define you. It's what you do that defines you. My name is Hassan Sani. My question to you is, what would you do?
So hi, welcome to eSingaCup 2020. So it's indeed a great privilege. This time around we have got Coach Ting from Hong Kong. So in fact, it's probably one of our one of the most talented, amazing female coach around right now in Hong Kong, especially. So Coach, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for the invitation. Yeah, nice to meet you all.
Extremely privileged. So Coach, I'll be doing a quick interview with you. So hopefully definitely be more than excited to hear your insightful story. After our interview, so I will slowly, gradually also invite some of our panelists to join us as well. They too have some questions to seek your advice as well. So the first one will be Miss Adelina Gomez. Mm-hmm. So Adelina is actually head coach of the girls program at ANZA in Singapore. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And the second will be Miss Jasma Habib. So Jasma is actually one of the players from Ayer Rajah Gryphons FC as well.
Okay.
And the last third one will be Jun Tan. This young lady is actually a Lion City Sailors FC and a Singapore women's player.
Okay, looking forward.
Yeah, sure. So let me fire off the very first question right now. So Coach, okay, for you in this instance, it's like, was it true that your parents would love to be involved in would like you to be involved in a more feminine activity rather than a sports like football? So how you actually overcome that?
Yeah, so I don't know the culture in Singapore. Is this a big difference from Hong Kong, right? So, like traditional Chinese, they think girls, they should go dance or draw something, piano, right? But so at the beginning, they don't like that I'm in the football field. Yeah, so first reason, I believe it's because of the culture. Yeah, secondly, I think because nowadays in Hong Kong, the football is not developing very well. So they don't think that I can get a good pathway or career or future in football. Yeah, because I had quite good academic result when I was a student. So they have a very high expectation of me. But after the graduation from the university, I chose to work in a professional football club as a data analysis. So that's why they were quite disappointed and they were quite angry. Actually, yeah, we had few arguments. With my dad especially. Yeah, but I'm lucky that I think it's likely after a few years they suddenly change a bit their mind. So they come to watch the football games in Hong Kong. And then I think that they saw that I'm happy and they can see that I'm learning a lot. So that's why they think, it may be a good job for her. And they become more support and agree with what I'm doing. Yeah.
So out of curiosity, I mean, as in, I know that probably they want you more in dancing instead of football. But during which phase of life or which period of time that you have decided that football is the thing that you will go?
Yeah. So when I was 13 years old, I stopped watching football just because of David Beckham is too handsome.
David Beckham.
Yeah. So I watched all the games of the Manchester United and also the England team, Premier League, something like this. And then I was thinking, maybe I can try to play football. But unluckily that my mother rejected. Yeah, so I actually put her signature on the application form when I was 15 years old. Yeah, it's not good, so don't learn from me. And then I started playing football when I was 15 years old. Actually, it's quite late. Yeah, as a beginner. Yeah, and then after the graduation of university, at the moment I was coaching some primary school just to get some money for living as a student, university student, and. The head coach of one of the professional football team in Hong Kong invited me that to help him and learn to be a data analysis for the club. So I start my career there. Yeah.
I see. Okay. So being the first female football coach to ever coach a men's team and to win the top flight championship in Bison in 2016. So would you be able to tell us more about that?
Yeah, I always said that I'm a very lucky as a coach in my football life. I remember that I started being an assistant coach around maybe 2013 when I moved to the Southern Football Club and then Sun Pegasus Football Club. And then when the club finished again and I moved to the new club, it is Eastern. Yeah. So at the beginning, I was just assistant coach in the club. And then in the December of 2015, the head coach get another offer from China. Yeah, so he decided to leave. And at the moment, the boss have to find someone to be the next head coach. And he want to pick someone from our coaches team. Yeah, and he considered that I have got the A license already from AFC. So he appointed me as a new head coach. So be honest that I was very nervous and very stressful because Eastern is not a small club in Hong Kong. They aim to get the champion every year. So everyone is watching me, and as a woman coach and especially quite young, so I draw quite a lot of attention from the media and the public, and also a lot of positive or negative criticize, something like this. Yeah, but I think I'm quite lucky that once I start being a head coach, I got 8 games, straight victory wins. Yeah, we win all the games. So I gain more confidence, and especially we win the Senior Shield Championship. Yeah, so the team trusts me, and all of my coaches help me a lot. And I really appreciate that. Even I'm a woman head coach, but the players, they stay very professional. Yeah, they just do their best, do their job. So that's why we have a very strong team spirit, and it brings us a league champion at the year.
Okay. So that successful seasons in 2016. So we also see you winning the AFC Women's Coach of the Year award.
Yeah.
Not only that, and you also featured as one of the most influential women in 2016, a BBC Top 100 Women's documentary. So how did all this recognition meant to you?
Be honest, I take all the award for the team. It's not only for myself. Being a coach, as a football coach, the people say you are good because you win the game, right? So the players did well. But the people say that you are bad because you lose the game. So all about the result. The result always come first. So that's why I think the recognition is for the team, for the Eastern Football Club, not only for myself. Yeah, and what I think is the most meaningful award for me is the league champion. Yeah, it's not about the personal award like the BBC or the best coach of the year, something like this. Because I think it is all the effort from the team, from the club, and they trust me. That's why I have got a chance to be a head coach, and I have got a chance to get all the awards. Yeah, so it's really, thankful for them. And I think my story is quite inspired for the other girls or women as well. So that's why I think even I don't think it is I'm very good or I'm a very strong woman, but I hope that my story can influence the others, like some women to chase their dream or always think big and try to believe in themselves. Yeah, I believe that a lot of women can be a very good role model in society.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, I mean, because of your achievement in Hong Kong, you were attracting so much attention, especially with your appointments at Eastern internationally. I mean, as in, how did you cope with all this pressure during that period of time? Yeah,
I think it is very, very good question, because how to deal with the pressure is really a big part of a coach. Yeah, because we always, even we do our best, but we can be frightened because the team lose the games, or some of the players, they are not playing well, something like this. So what I think is every job actually comes with the good or bad. So once you accept to be a head coach, you have to know that you're gonna have a lot of stress and a lot of criticize from the public or from the fans. Even the team is winning or leading, still have a lot of comment from the others. So I just take it as a part of my job, and it's like my responsibility to cope with this pressure. Because if I cannot keep my emotion well, I will influence my players and the other staff as well. So as a head coach, I have to always stay very calm. Yeah. So when I feel really stressful or sometimes nervous, I go for some exercise. Just go running or playing football again. Yeah. Yes. To release this kind of pressure. Yeah. So I can tell you a very interesting memory that the first day when I was appointed as a head coach, so we have a team talk, right? So first time I faced all the players, and then I think I spent one night to write down everything on a A4 size paper. I write everything. I want to tell the players that what I think, what I want to do, and then my hands was shaking like this. Yeah, when I was talking to them,
literally,
and they actually know that I was very nervous and under high pressure. Yeah, but I think experience can make you be a better person or coach. Yeah, now I'm better, but still, sometimes stressful. Yeah.
So during that moment, while you are nervous reading out the thing, I mean, I said, did any one of them or did any of the players actually approach you?
Not really.
Coach, you should be fine.
I think I always say thank you to them because they actually know that I'm nervous, and especially being the first woman head coach in Hong Kong, so they stay very professional. They even work out or help or do better than before because they want to help me. Yeah, they want to help me to release the pressure. So that's why we suddenly build up a very strong team spirit. Yeah, I think it is quite interesting that just because I'm a woman head coach, if I'm a man or I'm an experienced head coach, maybe they will just do the normal things. Yeah, they will think, the coach will tell me what I need to do. But they know that I'm new, so they try to do more. So that's why they contribute a lot to the team.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's always a good sign that you have got players behind your back and they really want to do you proud and to prove the critics wrong. So I mean, so just you yourself, I mean, like with the achievement in Hong Kong, so you have also experienced coaching the youth in China as well right now.
Yeah.
So I mean, comparing like the Hong Kong youth football and the China youth football, so what are the main difference between the training style between both area?
The difference is very, very big and large as well. I think Singapore sometimes very similar with Hong Kong, like a small place and a very high population, and we don't have enough space for the football field, right? But on the other hand, in China, they're very big, and they now try to invest a lot of money on football. That's why they have all the hardware. Just like they have a lot of training center, many grass football fields. So it is like, I cannot find this in Hong Kong, right? So they give me all the hardware, the resource. Like I mentioned, I want a GPS, heart rate, or I want a foreign, I bring an England assistant coach. I have a Spanish conditioning coach. So they give me everything that I want. And also, compared with Hong Kong, I feel like I become more professional when I was coaching in China, because in China, I can control everything, like the timetable, because we always stay together from the morning to the night. So it's like all the way training camp. So I can control like the diet, the nutrition, the rest, the recovery, everything. But in Hong Kong, everyone, they just come from the home, and after training 2 hours, they go back home. So you never know what they eat in the breakfast. You never know if they have a drink or they have enough rest at the night. So it is like a bit different. And also in China, I feel like the player is very disciplined compared with Hong Kong. But However, sometimes they are too disciplined, so they are afraid of like making decisions. So they always follow your instruction. You tell them ABC, then they will do ABC. But in Hong Kong, if you tell them ABC, they go DEF. Yeah, it's totally different. But and also in China, the mentality is a bit weak. Yeah, I think it is about the culture and the education. Yeah, but in Hong Kong we have a better education. So all of the players or the girls, boys, they have to go school every day. But in China, no, they go football every day. Yeah. So, but however, in Hong Kong, I think the biggest limitation is we don't have football field. So even the professional team, we just train at the artificial every day. We pay few hundreds, rent 2-3 hours, and after 2-3 hours,
play at the same pitch as well.
Yeah. So we don't have our training center. So we just go to the home stadium when we have the match. So actually, it's not a home stadium, just a game stadium. Yeah. But in Hong Kong, the players they're good at adapting something new, so they can make decisions or they can try a lot of new things easily. Yeah, it's a bit different from China.
Oh, that's really a very insightful one. Cool. Now we will slowly invite our very first panelist, Ms. Adelina Gomez. So definitely, I mean, Adelina has got quite a couple of good questions ready to fire at you. So can we have Adelina? Hey, yes, Adelina, the time is yours.
Hello, nice to meet you, Adelina.
Oh, you got to mute? Can I mute?
Oh.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Firstly, one thing that I want to say is I think I speak for a lot of people that we have massive respect for you, and because of your accomplishments throughout the year, being a player or being a coach. Jun actually mentioned you being the first female coach coaching a men's team. I think that is the benchmark that everybody wants to set as a female, right? So mad respect for you. Just a couple of questions. When did you start the love of the game? Like you mentioned, you started playing at 15 years old, but when did you start falling in love with it?
Being a head coach, I think I started being a head coach at maybe 18 years old. Yeah, I took the first coaching license. We called it youth football leader in Hong Kong. So we can coach the grassroots level. Yeah, when I was still studying in the university. Yeah, and then after the graduation from university, I was very lucky because AFC, they have a Project Future scheme. So Hong Kong FA, they recommend me to the AFC, and then AFC assigned me in the B license and C license course in KL as well. So we went to Korea, we went to Qatar and KL a few times to finish the coaching license. And the most important is I don't have to pay any money because just after graduation, to be honest, I have no money. If I want to get the coaching license, but I cannot pay. But I was lucky that AFC paid everything. And after the B license course, and AFC suddenly they have a pilot A license woman coaching course again. Yeah. So they put me in the A license as well. So that's why I think in 5 years, I finished the ABC license in AFC. Yeah. Wow. And at the moment, I was working in a professional club, data analysis, and then become assistant coach and then head coach. And also I finished sport medicine master degree. Yeah, because I know that very interesting. When I was having the bachelor degree in university, my major is geography. So everyone say that, well, you study geography, why you become a football coach?
Football coach, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I think I have to do something, to equip myself and have my strength. So that's why I took the sport medicine master degree, try to have more knowledge to be a coach. Yeah.
Wow. So I could just say that you're born to be a coach because everything was just laid out for you.
Yeah, lucky, very lucky.
Well, what is your philosophy as a player and then as a coach? Was there any difference in how you set yourself out to be as a player when you're playing in your playing days as compared to when you are a coach? How do you express yourself, or what do you have set up for yourself as a player and a coach?
Yeah, I think in my life philosophy, being a player is like easier, right? Because we just have to enjoy playing football, and the coach will tell us what we need to do. So the most important is your winning mentality. You can never give up. So when I was playing football, I just always tell myself, when I want to do something better and better, just we cannot give up. I think it is like a very basic mentality for all the athletes. Yeah, so it's a very simple philosophy. But once I become a coach, sometimes you will think more, right? So I always think that it is very important. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
You're right.
Because you always have to prepare the best and always prepare for the worst. So once I become a coach, and when I go back to the football field as a player, I always try to anticipate more. Yeah. So I think it helped my coaching as well. And you know that being a woman coach is not an easy pathway in football, right? Yeah. So sometimes you have to take times, never give up, to see what will happen in your life. So when I face a lot of difficulties in my football life, just try to believe in myself. You know, great things always take time. One of the stories is like in Hong Kong football, it's not really stable. So I work with a few football clubs, but all the clubs at the end that when the boss say that I don't want to pay any money, so the club gone. So that's why a few times I was like unemployed. I don't have job, so I want to quit. A few times as well. Before I become a part of Eastern Football Club, I actually download some apps and try to find some new jobs. Just out of football. But I know that when you love something, you can sacrifice more for this thing. So that's why I try to be patient, and luckily that I went to Eastern and get a new job.
Well, I think both of you and I are almost in the same boat, because I'm also a female coach in Singapore, and I think Hong Kong and Singapore are more or less the same in terms of the female in the football industry. So I think people don't really see the backside of what we do. They always see the front side when we're on the pitch and what we do, and people think that, oh, it's so easy, it's a walk in the park. And then when you start becoming a coach, you're like, oh my God, there's so much homework to do, play analysis, session planning, and things like that. So I think it's a good insight for players who want to hang their boots after a couple of years, and they think that, oh, you know what, I think I want to be a coach because I love doing this. And women's football in Singapore is slowly growing. And then maybe, who knows, 5 to 10 years down the road, we can actually carve this out as a career for the young players. So I think that's a really important motivation from you being a female coach in such a big industry. So as I said that, has your expectations for yourself changed compared to before you won and then after you won the men's championship? Has it changed?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I was I think few years, but I think like I have got like 15 years already. So I feel grow up very speedily. So become a real adult. When we are player, we still enjoy the football and sometimes always make jokes, make fun, right? But being a coach, you have to show that you are professional. So you have to show you are mature. So everything I do or my behavior on the football field, even off the field, have to be mature. So it's like a 40, 50 years old woman. So, and also I feel like I experience a lot of up and down, you know, as a player or as a coach, especially sometimes you win the games, but Also, you have got the downs there and a lot of maybe fail in the games in the league, especially when I was having the ACL year, the Asian Championship, the Champions League. We lose a lot of games, and the last round of the Hong Kong Premier League, if we get 1 point, we will be the champion, but we lost the game. So it's the last game. It's the last game of the league. Because we are very tired after the Asian Games. We come back to Hong Kong and we have to play the most important game. Quite a lot of up and downs, but it really bring me that a lot of knowledge, and I've learned a lot. I experienced that I stand on the highest stage in Asia, but I also being criticized by a lot of people. So be honest, that sometimes you can see some people, they point me to like the middle fingers, they say foul language to me or even to my family.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, face to face or like, internet is, you can do everything, right? On Facebook, Instagram. But anyway, it is a part of the coach life. And not only me, right? Even you are watching the Premier League, the Manchester United, the Chelsea, Liverpool, everyone can criticize them. So you cannot change what they said, but you can only do your best. So that's why I learned that I have to be clear to be a coach and stay professional, always stay humble and hungry as well.
I think it takes a lot to actually block out all the bad criticism from fans, from people saying the worst things about you, and still have the right mindset and the right mentality to motivate your players. So I think it takes a lot, and this is things that people don't see again. So it's really good. It's really good to hear from you. Yeah, exactly. It's the dark side that we have to go through. People only see the happy and the fun times when we win championships, we're running around the pitch, but they don't know the work that we put in and the sleepless nights we have because we're so nervous, we're so stressed out. So is there a difference between coaching males versus coaching females? Because I've only coached, I've been doing this for 11 years and I've focused a lot mainly on females. So I don't really look into the male aspect of coaching. But is there a difference?
What I think, the football philosophy is the same, right? Even you coach the men's or women's, young guys or the elder. But you can see the difference that as a woman teams, what I think in Hong Kong, compared with the men's team, woman is more disciplined. They will follow your instruction. But they are more emotional.
You're right.
They're jealous of who is the first 11, who are on the bench. So it is not about football, just about the emotion, or sometimes the mentality is not strong enough. Especially in Hong Kong, the women's team still like part-time, right? They are not full-time athletes. So they come to training, or they come to the game, or come to the Hong Kong team training after school, after work. So they're tired. So you know that they are facing quite a lot of difficulties as well. But when I coach in the professional men's team, because they are full-time athletes, so you can request them to do more. You can be more harsh for them. But they also, I think men, they have a stronger mentality. They always want to win. That's why they will do their best to fight for the first 11. And even they are on the bench, they are not unhappy, but they will understand that this is professional football. So if you have a reason, you put them on the bench, so they understand. So if the team wins, they're still happy. But sometimes you have to manage that because men, sometimes when they face women, they are a bit arrogant, and they always think that they're better than you. Because be honest, that some of the players in in Eastern, they are older than me, so they have more experience than me. So this is the fact I cannot change. But how you can convince them is you show that you are professional. You show that your training is fit for them, and you're helping them. So we have the same direction. We want to get the champion. So they will build up the trust with you. So it becomes easier if you can win some games with them and convince them that you are doing something good to help them get a better performance. Wow. But it's not easy because I have few times that some foreign players, because we have few foreigner in every team, like Brazilian, Australian. So one time that the German guy, he fight with a Brazilian guy, and I was like standing. Because it's like the first period that I become a head coach. I was thinking, what can I do? Because I cannot fight with them, and I cannot say like foul language with them, right? So they can run faster than me. They fight stronger than me. So I have to think like different way to solve this kind of problem. But if you have the philosophy or you have the rules for the team, so they understand. And sometimes the players you have to be very tough and harsh. But some of the players that you can just be soft to them. You have to listen to them. You have to always explain them like a mother and a son, even they're older than me. But that's a kind of like management, right? If you talk about the philosophy, it's a kind of management that we have to learn. Yeah, but interesting. Yeah, man and woman is interesting. Yeah, it's different mindset.
Man management is definitely one of the most tedious and difficult thing to do, especially.
So you're advising me to never coach a men's team, is it?
Yeah.
No.
Thank
you have to get this experience.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for your answers.
Yeah, so before I bring on the next panelist, Coach Chan, I have one more question, if I may ask, because you did mention saying that you have a lot of high and low during your career. So can I ask, would you be able to share with us which is actually your lowest point of your career so far?
Okay. I think a lot of people, they think that the lowest point that is when I was with the team in the ACL games, because we lose like 6 goals, 7 goals, 8 goals. Yeah, but what I think is I have learned a lot in this period. Yeah, I got a chance to shake my hand with Scolari, to play with the top team from Japan, Korea, and China. And be honest, they are really different level. They are much better and higher than us. So I was very sad and unhappy that we lose again, but I feel like I really learned a lot, and it is very important and unforgettable memory in my life. So that's why I think the lowest period in my life is before I went to Eastern. Yeah, that's why I told you that in Hong Kong, when I moved to from the first cup to the second cup, because the first cup, the boss is left the club, so they have no money. And then the second cup, copy again. The boss left the club, and then we don't have the job. So before Eastern, I have I resigned from Southern because I have to go KL for the A license course. And they reject to continue my contract because they think I'm not in the team, in the club, so I should not get any salary in April and May or June. So that's why I don't have job in 3 months. So I was thinking to leave football because I think, oh my God, I cannot just stay this kind of situation for a long time. Yeah, and be honest, I cannot see any future because this is the first time that the boss left the club and then we don't have the job. So that's why I think before I went to Eastern is one of my lowest period in the football life.
I see.
Yeah, because I'm almost quit. But luckily that I come back.
Lucky you didn't. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Adelina. So the next panelist I'm going to bring up will be our Miss Jasma. So is Jasma there?
Hello. Hi, Coach.
Nice to meet you.
It's so nice to meet you. Though it's online, but I think we'd have to do. we'd have to make do with it just because it's online right now. I would have loved to meet you face to face and then ask you all of my questions. Because you're such a big inspiration, I think, to a lot of girls around the whole world, not just like within our Asian context, with what you've achieved. So let me just get started on my questions. So I think being a female coach wouldn't be very easy considering how it's a very men, most of the coaches are men. So have you faced any discrimination because of your gender while you were coaching?
Yeah, I think I'm quite lucky that I start my career in Hong Kong. And I think Hong Kong, the culture is like we don't really have any discrimination between men and women. I think similar with Singapore, right? I have been Singapore, everything's like just very fair. Yeah, but in Asia, a lot of countries, especially the West Asia or the South Asia, they really have a big discrimination, like Iran, that. So they really don't have a chance to play football or being a woman coach. So that's why I'm lucky that I can be an assistant coach or head coach in Hong Kong. But I know that a lot of discrimination is happening in Asia. And even when you go to AFC or FIFA, you will hear a lot of story about men's and women's coach. So for example, that last time in the FIFA conference, I met the head coach of USA women's team. So they win the World Cup, right? But she also complained a lot that her salary is a big difference with the men's team. But in USA, the women's football is actually much better than men's football. But the salary is still like a big difference. Yeah, but I think it is one of the elements. So compared with men, I think as a woman coach, our salary still have a gap between them in the professional football. Yeah, but like what I said in the culture is it's okay because I feel like I don't know how to explain, but the difference between equal and fair. So I believe that men's football and women's football that we have to be fair, but it doesn't mean that it have to be equal, because in the football trend still is men is the main influence for the football, right? So we cannot trace like you have 1 million in men, so you have to pay 1 million in women. So it's different, but you have to treat us like fairly. Yeah, that's what I'm asking for in Hong Kong or the other country.
Actually, that's a very good point. Like, I didn't think of it that way, but being treated equally and fairly are actually two different things. And very insightful. Thank you for sharing that. Well, my next question would be actually, apart from all the awards that you've actually got, like, I mean, we've seen all of the awards. We even heard from our host what was some of the awards that you have. What was the biggest highlight of your coaching career, apart from all your awards? What was your biggest takeaway from everything?
So actually, the biggest highlight for me is not about the award. It's about the fail in the ACL. Because, the ACL for me is really a very, very impressive experience. I couldn't imagine that I can play again with Scolari. And they have the players that just come from the Premier League, Tottenham, and they have very, very high quality players. And when I went to Japan, the fans was very enthusiastic, and they actually gave us a lot of support. And we went to Korea, we faced others' culture as well. So that's why when we go China, Korea, and Japan, we learn the others' football cultures from their countries. And especially we lose some games, we concede a lot of goals, but we also know our strength and our weakness in the football. And we understand that, Hong Kong football is just so small. Yeah, the world is too big. So it let us, because in Hong Kong, we were champion already. So, the players sometimes think, I'm good, we were doing well, right? But once we get out of Hong Kong, everyone know that we are just very low level, and we have the we will feel that hungry because we want to improve. So that's why this is one of my highlights.
I actually admire your courage for being so honest about how you felt about losing. Not a lot of people will be very open to telling how they felt when they lost during the competitions. I mean, I don't know about others, but I've never heard someone speak so highly of their experience losing a competition more than winning it. You know what I mean? So I really admire and I look up to you because of that too. Well,
thank you.
I think another question that I really wanted to ask was, what really grounds you or humbles you throughout this entire experience and pushes you to strive more and tells you, you still need to go and do more than you achieve more than what you already have.
I think one of the reasons is I've got some chance to go out of Hong Kong, just like we have in the ACL, and I took the coaching course in Asia countries, not only in Hong Kong. I took the professional license in Korea and England, and I have got some chance to go FIFA to meet some very, super coaches. So that's why I know that, and I feel like I'm still very small. Even I get some award. So and also I think like every day I'm still making a lot of mistakes. So fail is always we in Cantonese, in Chinese, we always say that fail is the mother of success. So if you don't have to fail, you never get the success. So that's why what I have mentioned is you say that I'm open to talk about my fail, but I think being a coach, we have to be brave to face the challenge, but also we have to honest to ourselves. We have to accept that we have our weakness and we make mistakes and we fail on a lot of things. So that's why you can stay humble and you can stay hungry to learn something new. So that's why in these 2 years when I left Eastern, so I really strongly decided to leave Hong Kong. Because I think in Hong Kong, I have 10 seasons already, almost 10 seasons. So everything, it happened in Hong Kong football, I have seen a few times. So up and down, and it happened again, and happen again. So,
definitely.
Yeah, it's pretty much for me. So that's why I try to push myself to get out of the comfort zone and try to learn something new. Be honest, when I go to China, it's not easy because the culture is totally different from Hong Kong. So I had to adapt a lot of new things. But it was a very good experience for me that you work with different mindset people and you try to change their mindset and they try to give you something new. You adapt and you absorb. So yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. And when you open the TV, you watch a lot of high level football and you know that we are still very small.
Well, thank you so much for sharing with me all your experiences.
Thank you.
It was really nice hearing it.
Thank you, Jasma. Okay, Coach Shan. So, just out of curiosity, I'm really very curious. You did mention saying that because during the ACL you have played in Korea, Japan, and China.
Yeah.
So, and I know that I read it somewhere that you openly state that you are actually a big fan of J-League football.
Oh yeah, I really love Japanese football. Yeah, especially that when I went to Japan a few years ago, I visited the training center. I watched some trainings, and also because I was the match analysis for the AFC Under-16, Under-19 Women's Tournament, so I record a lot of things, and I recognize that. So all of us know that Japanese football is very good, right? So it's like the highest in Asia, and they play beautiful football. So they not only go for like effective or strong guy, fast guy, they really play Japanese style. So yeah, and also secondly is I really admire and appreciate that they have a very strong mentality. Yeah, so when I watch all the games in Asia, I can only see that Japanese team that Japanese, they are playing with joy. They are happy when they are playing. Yeah, when you look at the other team like China or Korea or the other youth team in the AFC tournament, they are nervous. They are stressful. They're scared to make mistakes. They are afraid of the fail. But in the Japanese game, they just show that they enjoy the game. They're happy. So that's why if I have got a chance to go to Japan, I would definitely just go and experience their football. Yeah.
Definitely. Japan is definitely
I meet few Japanese professional player in Hong Kong because they come and play in Hong Kong. And all the way that they are the most professional. Yeah, they teach you what is professional. So they teach a lot of things to the local players that what they need to do, the discipline, what they have to eat, or before, after training, they have to do. Yeah.
Okay, good. Thanks for that insight. Okay, we have our last panelist. So if I may invite Miss Danelle, or young Danelle, are you there? All right, Danelle, time is yours.
So thank you for your time. It's so great to meet you. So this might not be like the most usual question you might get, but I love reading books, and I was just wondering if there was like a book that you think had the biggest influence on your career or like your coaching style and philosophy.
Yeah, I have a favorite book that I can share with you, but it is like, I think 15 years ago, 10 or 15 years ago, I've got it. The name is The Secret. Maybe some of you know that is a very famous book because it talks about the law of attraction. I explain a little bit is the books tell you the secret that about the laws of the attraction. When you think something positive, the good things will come to you. So this is about your belief. Because I have a motto for myself is when you believe in something, you see something happen. But if you don't believe in something, you will never see this thing happen in front of you. So I think this book really teach me a lot that we have to believe in ourselves. And when we think a lot of bad things, the best thing will come with us. Yeah, but if you always think positive, you always think the happy things, then the good things will come to help you to chase your dream and help you in your life. Yeah.
That's quite interesting. So I'm a player myself. I currently play for the Singapore national team. And it's still a long way to go, but I'm thinking of turning like pro in either Europe or America one day. And I was hoping you would give like advice for or against this like decision.
Yeah, I'm very happy to hear from you that as a young player, you have this kind of idea or think, because a lot of players that they just feel comfortable to playing in the local, and especially you are already playing in the national team. So probably you are the top level in Singapore, right? So you should be, you should feel happy in the training, and you feel that you're getting to the success. But I think it is very good that you have this kind of mindset, because when you get out of leave the Singapore, definitely you are out of your comfort zone. So that's why I mentioned that if we want to achieve higher, or we want to go to other levels, so we have to push ourselves to leave the comfort zone. Because when you leave Singapore, if you can reach some higher level football, you will become more competitive, because you are training with the players who are better than you, or maybe all of them better than you. So you will push yourself to be better. You can play faster football, you can run faster, you can make faster decisions. But if you only stay in local, just like some Hong Kong players, you always train with your friends. You're one of the best player in the team, so you don't have the motivation to push yourself to improve. Yeah, so that's why if you have this idea, I really support, and always focus on something that long-term benefit. So instead of the short-term benefit, but you have to anticipate that once you leave Singapore, you will face a lot of challenge, and you have to overcome a lot of difficulties like the culture or the language, or maybe they don't really give you a lot of chance. You have to be patient. You have to try few clubs and get your chance. But yeah, if you have this kind of idea, I think you can do it. Just believe in yourself.
So in Singapore, I'm not sure if it's the same in Hong Kong, but in Singapore, like parents really prioritize studies. So for example, like a lot of Singaporean parents would rather their kids study like medicine or law, or a very good like degree for a future profession. But if I were to go overseas to perhaps turn pro one day, I think I have to bridge the gap in level currently, because the level in Singapore isn't that high. So that might mean that I might have to leave Singapore at a very young age. So do you think that makes sense to leave at a very young age, or would it be like detrimental to my future if it was too hard?
Yeah, that makes sense. I have few young players that they leave Hong Kong when they are 15, 16 years old. And once they come back to Hong Kong, they really have a very big improvement. Yeah, because when you, be honest, when you are younger, you can learn faster. So, but if you are already like 25 or 27 years old, you are already experienced. So when you are experienced, it's not easy to change your mindset. But if you are still young, you will be very open-minded and you are easy to learn something new. Yeah, and also I think it is a very important move for you that if you can live younger and you can become a professional player in the future, because you can become a role model for the Singapore women's football. And the next generation, they can see the pathway. Or they can see, we have the role model that should leave Singapore and she take the others' education and football in the others' country, and she's getting to be success and coming back. So I think it is a very good story and motivation, positive role model to Singapore women's football.
Yeah, but for example, like in the men's side, I'm not sure about the women's side, only about like 1% of these young people, athletes actually make it to the professional level.
Yeah.
So do you
think,
yeah, so what will you say to the other like 99% who don't make it as like a career? Yeah.
Be honest, I think it is really depends on your personality and your mentality, right? If you really want something, you can sacrifice everything. But if you don't really want to get something, you want to stay comfortable and stay happy in Singapore. So like the 99%, maybe they scare or they feel like, now it is enough for me to just enjoy football as a part-time player. So they don't want to leave. But if you can show that, the 1% is getting success, maybe after 5 years, we'll have 5%. After 10 years, we'll have 10%. So I can share some story from Hong Kong that I have some friends who is around 25 years old. They still have a dream to play in Europe. So I have a player that just come back from East Europe. I forgot the country name. So actually they speak not English. It's another language. And she just played there, the virus problem. So she was getting a lot of delays for the flight. And she finally get to the champions team of this country. And she played 1 month football there. And they got 2 champions. But now the club just cannot continue her contract. So she is coming back next week. But I think that she has got a very, very wonderful experience, even it is just 1 month. So she has no regret that she left Hong Kong. She sacrificed her job, her career, her family, and especially now the virus is very serious. So no one is willing to go to the flight or go to others country, but she sacrificed everything, but she get what she wants. So I think when you decide to do something, just no regret and no retreat, just try, because you are still young. Yeah, if you are 30 years old like me, I will not say this to you, but yeah, but you're still young. You have a lot of time and chance to develop yourself. Yeah, so just sometimes be brave, yeah, and just go for your dream. Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you. Thank you for
so
that.
I mean, as in like we have actually shared quite a lot on coaching the professional team. So I'm actually pretty curious as well. So it's like what is actually the biggest difference between coaching the players from the coaching academy versus the professional team? I think probably this is one of the questions because
yeah, it's a good question. Yeah. So again, for me, the football philosophy is the same. But when you coach different players, different culture, something that you have to change, right? So when you coach the academy, the young players, I think the most important is the development. So you cannot look for the result immediately, because when they're young, they can change a lot in a very short period. So you have to develop them. You have to give them chance. You have to give them some new training, new mindset. But in professional teams, be honest, results always come first. You really don't have the time to develop the player. Because if you lose one game, the boss will ask you why. Yeah. And the fans will complain that you lose again. So it is really different priority, result and development, right? And in professional team, you can talk more about tactics because they are all mature players. So they understand football. What you need to do is change the tactics and sometimes change their mindset. But and also control their emotions because they are arrogant sometimes. Yeah, but in academy, they are like more simple and easy. It's like just a new paper. You can write down everything on the paper. So I think not only tactics, but also like technique or physical are more important. And in the young or new generation, I think the mentality is getting weak. So yeah, that's why in academy, I do more on the motivation. I try to let them have a stronger winning mentality. Yeah, so when I was coaching in China, I give them a lot of freedom to discuss and do the match analysis and write down their target, their dream, and we have some evaluation to let them know that we all support them to develop themselves and also chase the dream. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Thank
so
you.
I'd like to thank Danelle as well. So perhaps
very good question.
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all our panelists over here as well. Adelina, Jasma, Danelle, thank you very much. So I'm putting all of you all on the screen together. So yep, it's a big thank you to everybody.
Thanks for the question.
Thank you. Thank you. So I will hope to see you in person very soon again.
Yeah, I wish I can come to Singapore.
Definitely. We'll definitely see you here in Singapore once again. If not, we'll go over to Hong Kong.
Okay. Promise.
Cool. Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you, ladies. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
A big hello to our eSingaCup family in Singapore. Namaste, this is Sunil Chetri. These are unprecedented times. Let us all unite, persevere and protect ourselves and our loved ones. Catch me live on Wednesday, 4th of November as eSingaCup celebrates 10 years of footballing excellence. Also, eSingaCup 2020 comes to you every day from the 31st of October to 4th of November. See you soon.
eSingaCup will have a new age group
which is the under 10s, bringing a total number to 6 age groups.
This tournament is a good platform for young kids to showcase their talent.
The competition is good, and so we're looking forward to our next year's one.
It's a fantastic to have this tournament every year. It gives the local Singaporean children, kids, an opportunity to play against competition that they normally wouldn't have.
everyone, and welcome, of course, to day 3 of the eSingaCup 2020, organized by Dynamic Concepts. And of course, joining me today for this very special interview is none other but the best of the best that has represented Australia, an icon that has played for Everton, Tim Cahill. Tim, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today for this very special interview. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. It's an absolute pleasure. Thanks so much for having me.
And, you know, we want to go through your whole football history. So let's start from the very beginning of your journey. What was your first experience with football? You know, how did you fall in love with the game?
I think ever since I was aware of that a ball was in the house as a baby, I reckon 2-3 years old, I used to see pictures of me kicking a ball. And then growing up through the age groups, my dad's from England, so he's a massive football supporter, which is actually a West Ham supporter. And everywhere around the house, there was always balls. So through the elements of growing up and kicking a ball and not really knowing, it was about probably 10 years old when I thought to myself, you know, watching TV, watching my dad watch English Premier League, Italian Serie A, World Cups, it just started to grow. And I love the feeling of playing with a group of friends, my cousins, winning, scoring goals, not scoring goals. And it just grew from there. But my dad definitely had a massive influence with being English. And in Australia, it is a big game, but it's not the #1 sport. So it's sort of like those elements that I learned more about the game as I got older. But I knew very young and very early that I was going to be a professional footballer.
It's mind-blowing to know that at such a young age, you've already saw that you were going to be a football player. And of course, at the young age of 16, you moved to England to pursue your football career. So take us through having to make such a brave and bold decision at such a young age. What gave you really that strength to follow your dreams?
Okay, so I think the elements of what happened in Australia was really important from the age of 12 to 16. I was a late developer. So basically, I wasn't the tallest. I wasn't the strongest. I was one of the smallest in my team. I always had the elements when I played to score goals, to be around the ball, to do some good things in little elements of the game. But I was quite timid. I was shy. I was within myself. But what I did is I formalized a training program, and I spoke to my parents, you know, and it happened after I was told that I was too small and I'll never make it. And what that did is I was in the bedroom doing sit-ups and push-ups. I was trying to change my running style so I can become more efficient. I was watching more football. I basically went to school, completed all my schoolwork, because if I didn't do my schoolwork, I wasn't allowed to go training. And then when I was at training, I trained like it was the last ever training session of my life. So before we go to the elements of being a professional and leaving at 16, I knew that I had to work that little bit harder, because I was told I'll never make it. I was it's not a realistic dream. So from there, one day I got home from school and I wasn't playing in the highest level in Australia. And my mum and dad sat me down. They said, "Listen, son, this is the time. In a few weeks, you have the opportunity to travel to England to stay with our parents, my mum's side of the family, in just outside London." And I was like, fantastic, but you won't get the trial straight away, you know? So I was like, well, this is the opportunity. But the thing that always sticks with me, and even till this day being retired, is the sacrifice my parents did. They rented their whole life. They had to get a loan out. There was a big responsibility for me as an individual to appreciate that, the hard work. And that's been a beautiful scar that I've carried all the way through my career. So after all the waiting in England, after training at the park by myself for months, and then getting that trial, the 2 weeks it was unbelievable, because everything that my parents and my brothers and my sister had worked for in investing in me, it's not about repaying back. It's about being the best I could be with the opportunities and sharing this with the kids so they can understand the value of what our parents do. So it was a long journey. It's not like you got WhatsApp now and mobile phones and FaceTime. It was, it was tough, and it was really an element that I like to share with children, to understand the processes and the levels that you have to get to just to get the opportunity to try.
And of course, it's really interesting how you put that, and how your family really played such a big factor into helping you become the player and the person that you are today. And now let's talk about the Premier League. Obviously, the Premier League is arguably the best league in the world. And of course, the ultimate goal for many football players. You started out with Millwall, but you really had your break with Everton. What do you think did it take for you to make that big step up and play for such a big club?
Consistency. Before I left to sign for Millwall, a lot of Premier League clubs were interested. With Millwall, the year that I left, we just got to the FA Cup final. We played against Manchester United, Cristiano Ronaldo, Roy Keane, Giggs, but Beckham, all the top players in the world. This was a time where I was very young. The semi-final was my final because I scored the winner at Old Trafford against Sunderland to get us to the final. But that's when I started to get on the map. When I was bought and I went to Everton, this was after 250 games, second division, first division, championship, whatever it may be, learning my trade, sticking by, being loyal to the club that gave me my opportunity, and then now ready to step straight into the limelight and own it. So it was amazing because not only when I signed for Everton, it was exciting because I was going to be playing with Wayne Rooney, young kid just coming onto the scene. I signed for roughly £1.5 million, and then they sold Wayne Rooney 2 days later, and I couldn't believe it. But we had a lot of club legends, we had a lot of players within the group, and that year we finished fourth. I scored over double digits in my first season. I exceeded all expectations, but I was so excited to prove all the hard work, all the sacrifices, my family, and this was the reward. And after that, the rest is history, because then there's World Cups, then there's finishing sixth, then there's Europe, then there's more goals, then there's so many amazing moments throughout my career to play in the biggest league in the world, which was my dream from day one.
Definitely amazing to see how you really took advantage of every opportunity. And of course, we are live now, and we have a couple of questions from the audience. They want to know more about you. This one comes from Kazing. Hi, Tim. Amazing to see you here. I'd like to ask how you imagine your former colleagues in the EPL to be feeling when they are playing now without any spectators.
What an amazing question. Because it is so difficult. I was just at the Man United Arsenal game live, covering the game, Sky Sports, and we were on the panel. We could see the pitch, no fans, so close to the managers and the players, and it's different feeling. It's something we have to adapt to because it's the pandemic. With fans, they changed the whole dynamic. The way you press, the way that the flow of the game moves, the goals, even when you celebrate, it has a different feeling. But I suppose we have to be really careful with letting fans back in. England's going into lockdown now in a few days, full lockdown. And the most beautiful thing about it is the football's on, so at least we get to share it with the fans around the world. So the players are feeling it. And it's not the same, but we have to adapt. But it's an amazing question.
Definitely. And we also have another question, since we're talking about the Premier League, from Nang Sowi. Tim, do you think Everton will finish in the top 4 this season?
Please. They've had an amazing start to the season. I'm a massive Ancelotti fan. I'm very lucky. I spend a lot of time within the club. Now, last season, I was with the under-16s as assistant manager, doing my A license in around the academy, around the young players, in around the club where the first team is. And Ancelotti is doing an amazing job stabilizing the club, signing some world-class players, Alan, Decore, James Rodriguez. So things are on the up. At the moment, Everton had 2 defeats, which isn't great, but at the same time, still equals second in the table. And I feel we have the opportunity to finish 4th. So fingers crossed, we can do it this season.
Fingers crossed. And of course, as we continue to talk about, you mentioned, of course, managers. And another question from our YouTube page was from Chua Menkiat. Who is the best manager that you had, and what are the qualities that set them apart?
Wow, I'm on my coaching journey now, and now I'm starting to understand different elements about all the managers that I've worked with. I'm very lucky because during all the World Cups, I worked under managers like Gus Hiddink, Bert van Marwijk, Pim Verbink, Van Bommel was part of that squad, Johan Nayskins, Ange Postecoglou. But I think on an overall aspect of who I was the closest with, because I spent 8 years with him, I'd have to say David Moyes. At Everton together, right now he's at West Ham, previously Manchester United. He's still someone that I talk to till this day. But one of the elements with inside that is the way he treated my family, my wife, my kids, my parents, the way he treated me, not only as a footballer, but as a person, which goes more than football. Football is an amazing game, but after football, there's life. And that's what I enjoy the most, is being able to sit here, share these stories, share my experiences to help give growth and aspirations and inspirational words for the kids to look forward to following their dreams. So I'd have to say he's played a massive part in my career, and that's one of the biggest reasons why I stayed there so long.
And of course, you know, as you mentioned, that it's really amazing when a manager can do that. You know, they not only leave an impact in your life on the pitch, but off the pitch as well. And let's go back to you. And of course, you found the back of the net more or less 68 times over 8 impressive seasons at Everton. You've also been known to be fearless, as well as a player that delivers in big matches. What do you think is the key mindset or key mindsets to be able to perform when the stakes are high?
Key mindset for me, it's very simple, is I started with nothing. And my expectation was to leave everything on the pitch and to over-deliver with my work rate, with my passion. As you say, being fearless is important because my mum's from Samoa, a little island, you know, from a small village. My dad's from England. As I said, I always go back to my family. And when you start with nothing and you get the opportunity to have a shot at the title, you keep giving everything. If you hit rosette, don't worry. One day it's going to hit the back of the net, and that's the day that you'll know why it's worth it. So things don't happen by luck. They happen because you dream about it. They happen because you train. They happen because you have that feeling. So my job is inspire you kids to follow your dreams. And if I can do it, then you have every chance, because I am one of millions of kids that give up because of maybe, you know, not following it, not having enough confidence. So I want to give kids confidence. I want to be a good ambassador, and I want to share how hard it was for me still to be the best I could be. But I hit the back of the net because of my work rate, and I loved every minute of it.
Definitely. And you know, the comments just keep coming from everyone online watching us live. I'm going to throw you a bit of a controversial question from Lo Widgie. Do you think that the current implementations of VAR in the Premier League is ruining the game, especially the fact that the final decision is not made on the field, but in the VAR room, the VAR room?
You know, I've done so many games where there's been so many controversial decisions. And for me, it's difficult because we take the game where what you see and how it happens and the emotions, like, you know, you score and then you stop because you don't know whether to celebrate. Then you have to wait for VAR. I think the other side of it as well, because it's part of the rules and having to talk about it, we just have to follow protocol, and whatever the rules are, handball, offside, it's really difficult to understand as an ex-player, and also very difficult for fans. And it's a controversial question, but it's something that I think everyone should talk about, because when you lose that moment of passion and emotion and the feeling within the game, and it gets paused and you wait 2 minutes, it does take the effect out of it. And I know it's affecting the game, but at the same time, hopefully now referees can make the decision on the pitch. They can look at it and they can have the whistle instead of, someone sitting in a box and making a subjective decision through the processes. And this is the new way of football. So that is a really, really good question.
Definitely. It's more really just have to adjust to whatever is given to us at the moment. And, after playing in England for over 14 years, you made another transition moving to America to play in the MLS. What for you were the main differences between playing in the Premier League and the MLS?
This was amazing. This is at a time, 32 years old. I want to play in more World Cups. I want Australia to do well in Asian Cups. I want Australia to qualify for more World Cups. And being in the Premier League for so long and playing 40 to 60 games a season, flying back to Australia, coming back, it was hard on the body, and you have to keep a level for so long that people expect goals, training, traveling. And I needed a little bit of a reset in the fact that if I'd stayed at Everton, I probably would have had to retire. It's a conversation that I've had before, which would have been amazing, and retired at 35, 36. But I had an opportunity to go to New York Red Bulls and to play with one of the best players in the world, and my dear friend still now, Thierry Henry. It was a massive opportunity. First, it's the MLS. It was a time when Thierry Henry, David Beckham are going to a whole new world, helping a league progress, improve it, the commercial side, the business. I'd never seen or experienced anything like it. The stadiums are amazing. America's amazing. The whole ethos of the fans. I really loved it. And I got to play with Rafa Marquez from Barcelona, Juninho Pernambucano, a Brazilian legend, and so many different players, and afterwards you see Steven Gerrard, you see some of the biggest players in the world, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Robbie Keane in the league. And I thought it's amazing for my wife and kids to live, in New York, to experience it. It's amazing for me. And that decision was part of me playing in the 2014 World Cup in Brazil, which we qualified. And I had some amazing moments there, scoring goals, and then also winning an Asian Cup in Australia. So it paid off, but more importantly, the MLS was amazing for me. That it's an experience still to this day that I have such a close relationship with America and obviously the MLS. So I loved every minute of it.
Interesting to hear that. And of course, you're a player that has played all over the world, England, US, China, Australia, and India. And we have another question as well from our fans who are joining us live. This one comes from Joe Rai. You made your debut in the ISL with Jamshedpur FC. How was your experience in India? And do you have issues adapting to the food or the culture there?
No issues, no experiences of any bad times in India. It actually made me really appreciate my career. I was treated amazingly well. I signed for Jamshedpur FC, and that was part of the Tata group. And the most beautiful thing about it is I got to help not only deliver grassroots programs in the local schools, but also help the growth of Indian football within that certain time of exposure on the pitch, off the pitch. Our nearest airport to where I lived was 3.5 hours by bus. So the travel, the facilities, everything about it, and the food was incredible. I actually today sent a video to Farooq Chudari from Karan Amin, who play in India, Indian international Farooq is. It's his birthday coming up tomorrow. I have really strong relationships with the league, with the club. And that's what I embraced. Living in China, living in India, the culture, the religion, the people, learning that there's so many different Indian languages inside that place. And I loved it. And the key element here is being a global ambassador for the 2022 World Cup for Qatar. I get to still be involved in helping deliver programs, grassroots. It helps when I write children's books. But I really appreciated how they welcomed me. They treat me like one of the family. And I'll never forget it and always be a part of me. So this is all part of being in the Asian group, qualifying. This is all part of my experiences. And now helping the growth of different leagues around the world is so important to me.
And of course, you talked about, of course, the grassroots level as well. And we have another follow-up question from online, from Peter Silva, talking about what can you say about the talent in football at the grassroots level in India?
It's fantastic. And the key element is when you go into a club and you go to work in schools, is just working on the fundamentals. It doesn't matter where we are in the world, India, China, anywhere, Australia. When you work with young kids, is teaching them the mobility skills, ladders, hurdles, left foot, right foot, touching a ball, catching, throwing, all these different elements. So I very quickly really enjoyed doing these processes and sharing it, but also with my teammates. So I'm someone that works through actions. After a game, if I don't play longer than 45 minutes, I might go to the gym midnight, and players look at me and say, what are you doing? I might just wake my trainer up and I say, let's go do a gym circuit. On my day off, I might just do a light bike and a swim. And people are thinking, but it's our day off. And you create a mindset. Can you do more? The kids at home, what are they doing now? They're at home watching me live. Can you do some sit-ups? Can you get stronger? Are you allowed to juggle the ball just on your patio, not in the house? There's always little elements within inside that of helping. And what I did as a kid to share these things that made me better, and also, made people around me better.
And of course, a lot of people really are commenting online now. The questions just keep coming. So we'll focus a bit more on some of their questions, of course, because this is their chance to get to know more about you. Another one is from Satish Kumar, a cricket mad nation with a population of more than 1.3 billion people. What more can be done to lift the game in India and possibly see more talents playing abroad?
Kaise ho, Satish? So I just said, how are you? It's great what's happening in India, because even now the ISL is on. They're doing it in a bubble. They're signing good players. They're investing. I've always said the way to make your players better is by playing more games. More games. The more you play, the more repetition, the more training sessions, the more international exposure. And this is important because when I went to England at 16, I was training twice a day. So if we're at home now and we play for our local club, we train twice a week, we play one game a week. A season's probably only 20 games. By the time I hit Premier League, I was playing 40 to 60 games a year. I finished my career now with over 700-800 games over a 20-year span. That's international traveling. So it's not about looking for faults. It's about finding solutions, and solutions for every country, wherever we are, if we can play more games and we can get more competition. And unfortunately, people talk about winning and losing. It's definitely a massive implementation into the way people think, and they think that no one should lose. But also learning how to lose is just as important as learning how to win, because either way, you need to learn how to do these things. So I think more games, more competition, more international exposure will help the growth of many countries, not just India.
Definitely. Coming from a developing nation myself, from the Philippines, of course, the same thing. I really agree with that. The more we can get more people to play, really, the more the players can really develop. And let's take that jump from India to Australia. You have a question from Jun Tan. In your opinion, what are the things that the A-League is lacking to reach the Premier League level?
Possibly just what I spoke about now. I think one thing leagues shouldn't do around the world is compare. You can't. You look at TV rights, businesses, all the stuff, commercial sponsors, there's no comparisons with money and exposure. But the good thing about Australia, there's 10, 11 or 12 teams within the league. They play each other 2 times They've got to expand the number of games. They've got to get a structure underneath that has first team, maybe reserve team, 18s, 16s, 15s, 14s, 13s, 12s, all the way down, and you have to filter through, and then players, boys and girls, can see the end goal. They can see, to play for the first team, I've got to play in the reserve team, and if the reserve team manager plays me and I play well, then my first team manager will move me up, and if I don't play well, I have to stay here or I have to change clubs. So I think it's structure. I think it happens over a long time, and I feel that I played in the A-League. I loved it. Scored, a lot of goals there, amazing times, good energy with the fans, and it was different. It was a different feeling, but I pretty much look for solutions. I don't really look at many negatives within football after retiring, because now understanding more about it and being more mature about football, it's helped me really to focus on solutions.
Definitely, that's such a great mindset. And let's go back to you for a moment. As we talked about earlier, that you've played in England, US, China, Australia, India. Personally, how are you able to maintain your form and keep playing at a high level, despite, of course, that changing environments, having to adjust depending on where you play?
Simple. You have to have in your mindset why you're going to China or why you're going to India and what you're going to do there. What are the purposes? Is it to play in another World Cup? Is it just for lifestyle? Is it because you want something new? So China was amazing. Living in Shanghai, Shenhua, Hangzhou, Greentown, the clubs I played for, the exposure. It was at a time where they had some of the biggest contracts in the world. We had just won the Asian Cup, and Tevez was there after, Drogba was there before me. I played with Demba Ba, Momo Sissoko. We had some really massive talents. My good friend now, Fellaini from Manchester United, is playing out there as well. So I think when you make these moves, I wanted to play in two of the biggest continents in the world. I wanted to. China and India were always on the box, because I knew when I retired, if I learned and understood the emotions and attitudes and playing with players that couldn't speak English, but I could still affect the league and affect the team and affect people in business, commercial, in football, that it would help me after. Being in the Asian group, I've gained a lot of respect, traveling to the Middle East, now working with the Qatar national team in the youth levels, 16s, helping them progress, knowledge, helping me with my coaching license now, which I'm heavily into the final stage of my badges. So I've looked at things differently. Maybe other players have got different aspects, different things, but at the same time also, I have to be realistic with my body. What can my body give back? If towards the back end of my career, I was just a striker. I played in the final third, and I tried to stay disciplined to score goals. So when my country needed me, I needed the ball delivered in areas with inside the 18-yard box that I could score and make a massive impact. And it's all through preparation, through analysis, and for being efficient and using my body better. And in the end, it's been really rewarding, but also a massive education for myself as well.
Definitely. And I think that you still continue to grow and learn up to this day. And, we want to ask you, especially since, as you said, you've played for so many clubs. Out of all the clubs that you've played for, which one is your favorite?
This is so difficult because there's so many different ones, but I've had two clubs that were so amazing. Millwall for my apprenticeship, for believing in me and for starting the dream. I'll always be indebted to Millwall. The second club is Everton. This is part of my life. This is something still to this day I speak to the chairman, whether it's a text after a game, whether it's me going into the club on a weekly basis or once a month. It's about family. This was family. The elements of countries and other places that I've played, this was experience. This is something where if I go to China, I'm welcome. If I go to India, I'm welcome. If I go to Australia, I'm welcome. So I look at it as the first basis of my career was my dream. The second basis was the development. And I'm indebted to all the clubs that played a part in for me being who I am today and helping create my legacy and also my portfolio of a decent career.
Definitely. That's such an interesting aspect, hearing about all of that. And, Tim, as a football player, not everything is highs, in anyone's life, or even for yours as a football player. I'm sure you've had your own sets of ups and downs. Can you take us through some of the injuries that you went through and how did you overcome having those kinds of adversities?
Probably the worst things that's happened in my footballing career has been the biggest learning curves and the most influential part of my my growth. I've broke both fifth metatarsals in both feet, so I have pins in each foot like this. On my right foot, I had an osteotomy where they had to re-break the bone. And I basically, very early on, I used to, go home back to Australia, and I was saying to my parents, like, crying, oh, I don't want to go back. I'm injured. I'm by myself. And these are the elements where you get tested mentally, physically, and then you turn into a mindset of the why you're there, the reasons why you sacrificed, your family, your parents, the small detail that nobody sees. So my cruciate, my knee, right now I've got no posterior in my right knee. I still run, I still train, and I still stay very fit till this day. So the elements is if it was easy, everyone will be doing it. Trust me, everyone will be professionals, and we won't have to go do other things. But I really took time in school to be the best I could be. I wasn't the best at maths. I'm very good at English, and I loved history, and I loved drama. And so I decided when I retired to go back to, I did a course at Harvard, which helped me. And that's why I keep saying that not everyone's going to make it, but the tough times of injuries, cruciates and all this sort of stuff, it tests you mentally, but it also tests you on the reason why you're playing and why you're going to continue to keep those levels. So I always like to make sure that the boys and girls listening understand why they're playing. If it's just for love and passion and they just want to kick around and have fun, that's amazing. Like for you, you've played for your country for 10 years, the Philippines, you're an ambassador yourself. You carry a real responsibility for girls and to be that aspect of it. And I would always ask them, find your why and you'll never stop doing it.
That's very inspiring, most especially for all of our viewers to hear. And there's actually a very interesting question that came out. Let's take a break first from the football career, and of course you wrote books. So we have a question from Natasha Lopez. What was or is the main motivation and intention behind the Tiny Timmy series of books?
Great question. I've got them here just in case, because I wrote an autobiography. And my autobiography was for older kids, adults. And then I've got 4 children. So I've got 3 boys and a girl. And basically my whole career, they've shared my journey. And what I thought is how can I put into layman's terms for kids my journey, So like here's one of my books that I just brought out. And this is called Playing Up, right? This is my whole career. I've played above my age, right? All these things is real life, making the grade. It's all real life, but it's what happened. I had to make the grade. I'm a so-called soccer superstar, but why? So this is sort of like my autobiography. The new coach. I had to deal with new coaches throughout my career. That's Tiny Timmy with Coach Roach and all the characters. My children are in this book. My children are in these books. Sienna, Kaya, Shay, Cruz. This is Tiny Timmy going on tour. And one of the most amazing books that I don't have here now is the one that I wrote with my daughter, where I'm holding her hand because she's given me the inspiration to help young girls, Women's World Cups, to follow their dreams and create different aspects. So when I got my big break, everyone's going to get their big break. Who knows when it's going to be? And the most important one, because this is all of us, the new kid. So every story has an element of something I've felt that is personal to me, but I also know that it's a little inclination to how kids feel, their emotions, their attitudes. So when you look at the colors, when you touch it, you feel it, you open the pages, the kids can color in the pictures, they can draw on it, they can, I basically implemented my kids being young, and this is over a long period of time, and my next book's coming out, and I write things that have cryptic meanings, maybe, that's happened in my career. So it's so special because it's not just about boys, it's about girls. I was the ambassador for the Women's World Cup, the last one. The next World Cup's in Australia. I'm very close with a lot of the girls that have moved to England from the national team. And we have to build these foundations for boys and girls. And I focus on young kids because I just feel I'm that young kid. And it's a way for me to share that journey.
That's those books really, I can't wait to get a hand on some of them. It's great to see how you make your impact and make sure that you reach out to everyone else, making sure that football really is inclusive for everyone. And let's go back a bit to your football career and your experience with Australia. Of course, you're one of the best. I don't think I have enough time to put down all your achievements with them, but let's stick to one that you are holding the title of the leading goal scorer for Australia with 50 goals. What is it like to be considered a legend, playing, of course, such an impactful role for your country?
It's a pleasure because it's one thing playing well, because you have to play well for your club to be selected for your national team. But every time I crossed that white line and got to sing the national anthem, I knew it was an opportunity to represent 28, 30 million people from Australia. I'm a very passionate, emotional guy when it comes to representing my country because I always put my country before my clubs. Every manager knew it. It's probably something potentially people could say it was my weakness because of levels and what was expected. But I've had some of the most amazing times. World Cups, Asian Cups, Olympic Games, sharing this, my whole family have been to every single tournament with me. And it's a great responsibility, being the go-to guy. When you flick the telly on, when you play against Australia and Tim Cahill's in the lineup, you fear the fact that if you give me a chance in the air or around the box, that potentially I'm going to score. And 50 goals is just a reflection of my dedication to my country.
And of course, speaking of those 50 goals, we have an interesting question from Kenneth Ang. How did the goal celebration of shadowboxing around the corner flag come about?
This is amazing because I've got a really close friend in Archie Thompson from Australia. Everyone can look, his first ever celebration was like a kung fu one, and he kicked the flag afterward. And I seen him do it in an international game. I think it could have been in London. I can't remember who we were playing. And I said, you know what? I reckon I can add a little bit of flair to that. I choreographed it, just with a bit of spice. I like boxing training. And I scored against Sunderland, 90-something minute. And it was just a little left, right, a little duck, and then a hook. And it stuck. And it's so amazing because in 3 World Cups, Asian Cups, everywhere around the world, any league that I've played in, if I drive past a kid or I go to a school or if I'm in town or China, anywhere, someone will just go like this. You don't realize the impact that you've made till after you retire. I just took it for granted, afterwards, how amazing that little touch was. So yeah, the celebration's special to me. And it's sort of like a little trademark. So yeah, it's amazing.
And of course, as we talk about that national team experience, what was your most memorable experience with the Socceroos?
Yeah, that's not fair because that question is so many. 4 World Cups, qualifying. I'm 40 years old now, and I still pinch myself that I've been able to score 5 goals in 3 World Cups. I've been able to win an Asian Cup. I've been able to score some amazing goals. It's hard because you don't process. I'm not processing it right now. I'm not, I'm understanding the question, but thinking about it, it's like you have to go back and really think hard to what you've achieved. So I like what I've left. I've liked what I've left for the game. I like the fact that people really appreciate my dedication to the game. But I think I can't beat being the first ever goal scorer for Australia in the World Cup. I nearly forgot.
Definitely. That's one of those highlights as well when we talk about all your accomplishments for Australia. And of course, we have another question as well from Benson Lim. You have scored many of your goals with your head by having that adapt heading ability and high vertical leap. How can we put into practice for our youths in our clubs and academy?
Beautiful. Okay, real quick lesson now on how to head a ball. First thing is open your eyes. Open your eyes. Don't close your eyes. Don't be scared of the ball. The ball will never hurt you. Head with the forehead. Second part of the lesson is the goal doesn't move. So you already know where the goal is. You're heading with the forehead. Your eyes are open. If it's wet, head the ball down so the ball can skid. If it's dry, head the ball in the air. Always look for the corners. So that's really quick and a way that I teach younger kids. And then I advance as it progresses, and we talk about crossing and timing of runs and losing a player and runs, but they're all the elements of coaching. So forehead, open your eyes, goal doesn't move, good contact, low if it's wet, in the air if it's dry.
And of course, that's very, even I'm going to take that into account. I'll make sure to write a note on that. And, Tim Cahill, for the longevity of your career really is exceptional. As you've mentioned yourself, you've played in 4 World Cups and scored in 3 of them. As someone who has literally done it all, I think you're the perfect person to ask for this question. But what habits does a player need to build to be able to stay and play the game as long as possible?
Important thing for kids is what you eat. What you eat is so important for your energy and the output of what you're going to deliver on the pitch. So if that's running up and down the pitch because you're a box-to-box midfielder, if that's small sprints, the food is so important to that. Second part of that is your sleep. Do you get 7 hours minimum? Do you get 9 hours maximum? Do you think about what time you go to bed and what time you wake up? And then your training program. So for me, I teach my kids that if you can't make your own bed and clean up after yourself, or to help your mum or dad, or to appreciate cleaning your own boots after we spend so much time and money buying them, then you're not going to be a footballer. There's talent, and then there's people that work hard. So for me, I really like effort. I like that sort of mentality that you if you make your bed, try and do more. Always try and do more in every effort. It's not just finish your homework. Can you do more? And they're traits that you'll find on the football pitch. You won't just then win a tackle for me. You win a tackle for your friend. You'll pick up the second ball. You'll run that little bit harder to defend. And they're behaviors that I learn within my training sessions and the way that I give them and the way that I coach. So there's some real strong elements, and discipline for me is number one.
Definitely. And of course, as you talk about that, we have a question as well from Jackie Chu. How do you think we can motivate, of course, more kids on the junior soccer to cultivate their interest?
By having fun. Focus on fun and inclusion. Focus on everyone being a part of it. As things progress, then you can make it more difficult with the exercises. But the key element is to get people outside is they need to score goals. They need to play. They need to have the same touches of the ball. Everyone needs to probably start with their own ball. If a kid joins the game and he doesn't want to be a part of it, then he can hold the coach's hand and help them be a coach. You can give them a bib. You have to be creative. You have to think like a child, and you have to think about what they want. So that for me is really important. Are you there? Hello. Hello.
Sorry, got disconnected there for a moment as it's been raining here as well. So a little bit of rain. And for some reason that affects our Wi-Fi as well, as you were saying, of course. And we have another question as well regarding the S League, the Singapore League. Have you heard about it and what are your thoughts about it?
I think the main thing is every league within the world. Everyone always says, how can we improve the S League, the ISL, the Indian League, the A League? I think that the elements within it is the professionalism. How professional can you have your setups? How professional is the training? Are all the elements there for the players to be the end product to produce for the fans? And I feel for that, you can only build on those bases. So the training elements, the coaching, the players, and making sure that the growth of the players within your own country are reaping the benefits of that maybe international flair, or the coaching, or the players, and that side of it. But yeah, it's pretty much the same everywhere. But people look at as leagues not being better than the others. But I really think that everyone should focus on their own path and then how they can bring growth without comparing.
Definitely. And, Tim, as we continue to talk to you and really just the impact that you've had on the sport in general, we know for sure that your impact on football will not end in your playing career. So as everyone would like to know, of course, what is next for Tim Cahill?
It's been nearly a year and a half now being retired, maybe a bit longer. And I've taken a big element into helping my kids follow their dreams. So my oldest boy is in the academy in Spain for Leganes, under 18s. My 15-year-old boy is at Everton, signed professionally. And on that journey, so supporting my kids, my daughter's playing for Accrington Stanley. She's 13, so it's a team that's just started, but in the league. My youngest boy's 8, and he's enjoying school and also playing a little bit here and there. But I spent 20 odd years playing, traveling, dedicated to football, and them sacrificing a lot for me. So I've taken a little step back, studying. I'm on my UEFA Pro license now. I'm learning out of Qatar national team and also at Everton within the academy and hopefully other areas, and doing a lot of TV with a lot of big personalities, big networks, and learning more about the game and being at Premier League games live. So yeah, that's the next stage for Tim, but eventually, hopefully, coaching, and we'll see where it takes me. But the process is first on my wife and kids.
That's very interesting to see, of course, where else you'll take your career. And we still have time, so we want to answer a couple of questions from our fans as well. Another question that Jun Tan had is, able to share your thoughts on that 2011 Asian Cup final 0-1 defeat on Japan during the extra time goal?
Literally, I remember that game. I had a problem with my knee, a few other players strapped up. I basically should never have lasted as long as I did. But we were really confident. We felt we had a massive chance to win that game. And we remember the goal we conceded. I can't remember, it was a volley late on. It was just devastating because we got so close yet so far away. And that's where you use that heartache, that heartbreak into the next Asian Cup and, winning it in Australia and turning it into a positive. So I remember Japan, amazing players, big talent, strong, physical. They definitely mixed it with us. And in the end, they were too good.
And of course, we have one more question from one of our fans, Nang Sowi. You or Calvert-Lewin?
I'm Calvert-Lewin. He's a great player. He's a great player. It's good to see him scoring. But he's still young. He's got so much ahead of him. I think now for him as a player, it's just about finding consistency. He can head a ball, which is great. But yeah, he's had an amazing start to the season, and long may it continue because we need it so Everton can finish in the top 4.
And of course, Tim, for this eSingaCup community and this event that we're having, what is your message really to the young players that want to follow your footsteps and pursue a career in football?
I think it's amazing. You know, I think it's the 10-year anniversary. The amount of kids that's been through this eSingaCup, 600 teams, 11,000 players, officials. The key element for me is everything's about enjoying it, right? But being part of this, there's a competition element and there's so many different ways to learn. I think it's preparation. Kids want to follow their dreams, and the direction that you take implements into your everyday work. How you are when you wake up, how you are with your family, your parents, appreciating the lifestyle that you have, and then them helping you to build that. So if you want to be a professional or you want to be good at work, then there's no difference. Prepare, put the effort in, hard work, and part of being a professional is suffering. And I don't know what that is for each person. For me, it's sacrificing maybe not going to school discos because I have to prepare for the game. There's always different elements. So follow your dreams, be positive, be confident, and always remember that it's good to help each other out and take people on the journey with you.
Very inspiring. And, you know, we still actually have more questions. People just keep typing them up, and we hope that you're still game to answer some more. This one is from Richard Tan. If you were asked to select a 5-a-side team for a game, who would be in your team?
I'll do with players that I've played with. Thierry Henry up front, Mikel Arteta next to me in the midfield. Probably Phil Neville, very close friend as well, at the back. And in goal, we'll put Tim Howard from Manchester United. I know that every other player would probably pick Mbappe, Neymar, Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi. And the goalkeeper, wow, that's a hard one. Probably Neuer. So there you go. Not a bad 5-a-side, 2 5-a-side teams. You back? Hello?
Still typhoon season here in it's just getting up there. Tim, we'd like to ask you, of course, one more question.
No problems.
Of course, yes. It's just that, I guess, your last message to being able to be a part of the eSingaCup.
It's an absolute pleasure to be a part of the eSingaCup because to share my journey, to share some experiences, not only on the park, but off the park. I hope that there's something small that you can take and something you can remember forever. And I hope through social media, you follow my journey. I can answer more questions later on and still be a part of the eSingaCup experience in the future. So my job is to help you follow your dreams. And if not, just to have fun. Take care.
All right. Thank you so much for the time that you took out here to be able to spend with us, to inspire players. Really, thank you so much. And we hope you the best in all your future projects.
Thank you, Natasha. You too. All the very best for you as well.
This is the place I call home.
Our home. This is where we live amongst trees and carve them out of metal. Where impossibilities lead us to endless possibilities. This is where all that you're passionate about, all that drives you, is made possible. This is where passion is made possible.
No peak too high to reach, no roads too long to seek. The highest mountain we'll climb. Oh, no valley that's too deep, nothing we can't achieve, 'cause nothing's breaking our stride. Hey, here we go, sing a roar, take the lead, sing a more. Ole, 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 ole. Here we go, sing a cup, no we're not giving up. Ole, 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 ole. Na na hoo, na 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 hoo, na 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 hoo, na 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 yeah yeah yeah. Na na hoo, na 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 hoo, na 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 hoo, na 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 yeah yeah yeah. We're headed for our dreams, gold opportunities, our heart connecting our mind. Oh, through it all, you and me, we'll win eternally. Our future's looking so bright. Hey, here we go, sing a roar, take the lead, sing a more. Ole, 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 ole. Here we go, sing a cup, no we're not giving up. Ole, 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 ole. Na na hoo, na 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 hoo, na 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 hoo, na 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 yeah yeah yeah. Na na hoo, na 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 hoo, na 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 hoo, na 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 yeah yeah yeah. Together, you and me, we'll reach our destiny. Sing a cup, keep roaring, for we are young and free. We'll get the stars tonight. Our hands up to the sky. Long as you're by my side, we will fly. Hey, na na hoo, na 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 hoo, na 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 hoo, na 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 yeah yeah yeah. Na na hoo, na 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 hoo, na 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 hoo, na 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 yeah yeah yeah. Here we go, sing a roar, take the lead, sing a more. Ole, 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 ole. Here we go, sing a cup, no we're not giving up. Ole, 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 ole.
A big hello to our eSingaCup family in Singapore. Namaste, this is Chetri. These are unprecedented times. Let us all unite, persevere, and protect ourselves and our loved ones. Catch me live on Wednesday, 4th of November, as eSingaCup celebrates 10 years of footballing excellence. Also, eSingaCup 2020 comes to you every day from the 31st of October to 4th of November. See you soon.
This is the place I call home.
Our home. This is where we live amongst trees and carve them out of metal. Where impossibilities lead us to endless possibilities. This is where all that you're passionate about, all that drives you, is made possible. This is where passion is made possible.
What exactly is Just Football? Just Football is an app that brings the football world and the tech world together. It allows you to play different challenges, whether it be on the pitch, like the crossbar challenge, or off the pitch, where you get to do your skills, rainbow flicks, 360s, all of that good stuff to help you improve your game while having fun at the same time.
So here's how it works. In the app, you can pick from loads of different challenges. So you select a challenge, you watch a tutorial, and you see how to do it. Then you go and give it a go. Film yourself completing a challenge, share your video, and get rated by the community to collect the stars and progress in the game.
As you get more stars, you elevate. You go from easy to medium to hard until you become a superstar in-app. So I'm gonna try the 360 challenge, which is basically you flick the ball up, do a 360, and then catch the ball before it drops on the floor. Let's try it.
There you have it. There are loads more challenges in app for you to try, so what are you waiting for?